We on the podcast, baby.
Club Talk. Jay Brody. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. Yeah, baby, it's that Club Talk. You're now listening to that Club Talk. And now, your host, Jay Brody. 1, 2, 1, 2, ha!
Alright, and we are back with another episode of Club Talk Podcast. It's been a minute since I put out an episode, but we are back. Before we get into today's guest and today's episode, I gotta shout out a couple of folks for setting this episode up, actually, or introducing me to this guest. Want to shout out J. Marie, L. Boogie, Boo Wop, and Hondo, formerly known as Show 83. And the new show is called
The Uptown Radio Show.
The Uptown Radio Show.
And y'all owe me for that plug.
That's right, Uptown Radio Show. Make sure y'all show them love and go check that out. Also, I want to shout out the best podcast in Dallas out there. The reality is, make sure you go ahead and check them out. They're doing great things. If you enjoy podcasts that go in depth, unfiltered, raw conversations, make sure you go ahead and check out The Reality Is. And today's sponsor, Hello Black Man. You can see I'm wearing the gear right here. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're just listening on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever other app, make sure all the information is going to be in the link in the description of this episode. HelloBlackman.com. Ran out of Mississippi by a nice, intelligent brother, Jamie Jenkins. So make sure you go ahead and go to HelloBlackman.com, where you can find any and everything supported with the intellectual growth of black men. So that's that. All right, we're going to get right into it. The man is here. This episode has been a long time in the making.
Yeah, we've been working at it.
Yeah, it's for the top of, would you say top of this year, maybe?
Yeah, sounds about right. I thought you was resisting me for a minute. I'm like, I ain't about to be resistant.
You know, I hate when it come off that way because it's so not like that. But oh my God, Lemire T. Dennis is here.
I'm here. Hello, young world.
That is his man. That is his man. That is his name. Lemire T. Dennis has joined us right here on Club Talk Podcast.
It's official. I'm here.
Yes, on a Friday.
Yeah, man.
I had the music up too loud. You knocking on the door, and I didn't even hear it.
Man, I was about to go out. About to write down the mileage. Like, I started at this spot, left at 51 cents on the mile.
Yeah.
Like, I need my money, man. If I can't do the show, but at least take my money back.
All right.
So.
Now, currently where I stay at out here in Columbus, you explained to me that this is your old stomping grounds, where you kind of this area kind of where it all started for you.
I remember all of this, man. Matter of fact, I mean, I got so many stories, but I mean, there used to be, for the lack of a better term, it was a project over here.
Okay.
And some people know it as Greenbrier. Some people go all the way back to what's called Chesterfield. And we're
talking 80s?
80s and before then. You know where Afrocentric is?
Yes.
Like, all that used to be like a huge just project.
Oh,
like building upon building, I mean, forever.
Oh.
And everybody who was in the hood on the east side lived over there.
Yeah.
And I lived over there with my mom for years. Like, all her friends lived over there at some point in time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much where I grew up. And then they tore it all down and, you know, brought over Afrocentric. But even after that, I lived just outside of this area on Virginia Lee Court.
So this whole area you familiar with?
Oh, all of it.
Like the back of your hand.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm walking down the street. I mean, riding down here. I'm looking like the candy store used to be there. And they would only let 4 people in the store at a time that was kids. And then we go through here, and all the girls lived over here. So, you know, you got to go over there and be fresh. Oh, yeah. It all comes back to me. It's
man, that's dope. Like, to me, like, because I'm not originally from here. I'm cat from Philly.
Right.
And to me, I'm just hearing it like, oh, okay.
Right. Like,
That's cool.
I guess. Yeah.
Right. like I know the areas, but I guess it means something to you. I wasn't here in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah, this was it back in the day, man. This
Oh,
whole
man.
east side of town. You was out here or a little bit further east, like in Lane and all that area. But yeah, this was it, man, back in the day.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
So much to talk to you about, man.
Yeah, man.
So much to get into. Your story is crazy. For those who probably aren't familiar with you, out here in the Columbus area, or people who already know your story, probably already gonna know what we're gonna talk about. But we not gonna hit that just yet.
Okay.
We're gonna slow walk this
All
thing,
right,
man, cause it's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
That's heavy. That's deep. I've done a lot of research on you. I watched your interviews. I went to your website, your pages,
Stalking me.
all the information you sent me. I dug into it,
Okay, appreciate
and
it.
it led me to other places. Like,
Yeah. Right,
more and more.
Right.
Stuff just kept popping up, and I'm like, okay, and I, jotted my notes there. As y'all can see, if y'all watching on YouTube, got a whole page of notes here.
Right.
I'm so sorry, y'all. For those who are watching on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, subscribe, comment, drop a like, follow the podcast if you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, any podcast app that you consume podcasts on. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and get your boy a rating. Help me move up in the ratings, would you? All right, so I wanted to start before we get into that meat.
Okay.
your vlog, your YouTube channel.
Okay.
I find quite interesting the segments that you do that you entitle Keys to the Door.
Okay.
And it's followed by whatever you're talking about at that moment.
Right.
And there's two that I like listen to twice.
Okay.
Because for me, I'm younger than you, obviously. I'm born 89. I'm 30 years.
Ooh.
30 years old. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I enjoy talking with folks older than me.
Okay.
Because I learn and
Right.
it allows me to soak up wisdom.
Mm.
So sometimes I purposely want to reach out to talk to older
Sure.
people so I can soak all that in. Because if you're just going, in my opinion, if you're just kind of like measly going through life and you're just in your own head
Mhm.
and not, networking with those who experience some
Right.
shit,
Right.
you're gonna be a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
When you get to that, you go, damn, if I would have had an OG to
Right.
kind of talk to me about these things, I probably could have avoided that
Right.
pitfall.
Right.
So I purposely like talking to people who are older than me. I really enjoy it.
I don't know how I feel about that. Just-
No,
Well, I
that's
gotta
a
be
compliment.
okay. Okay.
That's a wonderful
Good.
compliment. I'm not
Good.
calling you old.
Yeah, you is. But it's fine because I'm the OG.
You the OG, man. So there's one Keys to the Door that's entitled "It's Not About What You Do."
Yeah.
And in that you kind of you reference the Bible and you use two characters from that to kind of tie it all in. And I thought it was dope. You kind of used John the Baptist versus Moses.
Mm.
And he was kind of saying,
Gotcha. Okay, I remember.
yeah, he was talking about how John the Baptist knew more,
Mhm.
but Moses did more.
Mhm.
And it kind of created an illusion who was the
Right.
real guy getting it done.
Right.
Most of us, we hear Moses. And I thought it was ill how you kind of use that reference to kind of title. I was like, oh, you know what? That's ill. Could you expound on that as far as like, because when I look at my generation, I think we get caught up in just putting out volume, just going, going, but we're really not learning. We're just, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's all about getting seen.
Right.
But when you go sit down with someone, you like, okay, we're gonna give you opportunity. Then you found out you ain't got nothing up here. It's
Right.
like, so tell us about yourself again. And you stumbling and mumbling.
Right.
You don't know shit.
Right.
You just want the look. You just want to look good.
Mhm.
Could you explain that, like, as far as how you kind of look at that and what made you entitle that video that?
So when it comes to the keys, I set them up in advance. So in other words, I've got like a whole list Random things will just come to mind, whether it's topics or whether it's a tie-in and I need to come up with the topic. A good thought, a good conversation. So literally I've got a list of about 20, 25.
So you already have them.
Oh, yeah. Got them already.
Okay.
Now, I haven't recorded them,
Right.
but I just have the title. So I already know what I want to talk about, and I've got an idea.
Yeah.
So I'll just jot it down, and I'll just keep it.
Yeah.
And generally, I'll say, okay, today's Friday. Let me record the keys, and I'll look at my list and which one is speaking to me today. Which one am I really feeling today?
Okay.
And then I'll spend some time in thought and refresh myself on what I thought about when I first wrote it down, and just kind of get in that space.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the key started. And then when I get into it, as you see, I just flow.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do a lot of, let me stop, let me start over, let me edit, and there's value in all that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just let it flow, and I just go off the top, and I try to visualize people listening from all walks of life.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just go Bible heavy, because
Right.
Christians will be like, oh yeah, all right. And everybody else will be like, man, Christianity is this and that. And so let me just give you a perspective.
Yeah.
And if you read the Quran or if you read the Gita, let me give you a different perspective. Let me give you everyday life. So that's where those keys came from. And that's kind of what drives them. But to your point, I think there's even value in putting out things.
Yeah.
And I'm not that older guy like you talked about earlier. I'm not.
Tell the people how old you are. Be proud of your age.
I'm 45.
45.
45. Getting close to 50. Get my lack. My 76 Seville. But that's another. That's just if my wife's watching. 76 Seville, no rust, original parts. Just if you're listening.
There you go.
So, but yes, I think that there is value. There is value in even putting out things because. And the point I was getting to is I'm not that older guy where I want to, the young people, they always doing this. And I can't stand
coming
when
down
they
on the younger
come
generation.
on. I mean, they doing their thing just like I did my thing and everybody else, did their thing or will have an opportunity to. But I look at it like this. The times that we're living in right now, there may be more value in the likes and the thumbs ups and the shares than actual money. And I think that attention is the new currency. And if I have $1 million and then I go out and I want to buy a candy bar, I don't have $1 million anymore. I've got some money and then some change that used to be $1 million.
Yeah.
But if I've got 1 million followers and I say, hey, I need each and every one of y'all to share this.
You can convert them followers into money.
Man, you can do a lot of stuff. I mean, you can go well beyond millions. I mean, you can just keep it independent and just have folks salivating over you like, we need you. We got to sign you. I'm like, nah, me and my 1 million followers. Hey, y'all give me a thumbs up if y'all think I want to just stay independent. Keep it to myself. Boop, 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 boop. And you be like, see, don't need you.
Right.
So there's value in that.
Yeah.
But again, with the keys, I just try to speak to, what I'm feeling, what's on my mind, what's on my heart, and give lessons. Because as we're living, we're always having conversations. Yeah. And people ask me all the time, well, what about this? How do you do this? So I say, you know what? Let me just put out something where I don't have to keep answering the same question all the time.
Yeah.
How did you do this? And you're a photographer. What kind of pictures you take? Oh, my gosh. Use the YouTube channel. Please don't let me have to have that conversation again.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from. And as it's grown, I'm just having fun with it, man. I like to talk. As you get older, I think you can't stop talking.
It just comes out.
Yeah, especially when you got kids. Always every teachable moment. You fell down a step. See?
Yeah.
That reminds me of the time when I tried to tell you 2 weeks ago on this day you had on the blue shirt, and I said no. So.
Yeah, in the how you do it, the setup, you just in your car.
Yeah.
You just chilling in your car.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, does he go into the car? Like he just pulls over real quick, or he's on his way to somewhere, or he just parked?
No, I got it set up. Now, when I first started them, it was a little weird because I'm in my driveway and I live in a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So my kids is always out, neighbors is out. I don't want people just look at me like, why is he just sitting in the car? Who's he talking to? So the whole time I'm talking initially, I'm looking around like, who looking at me? Who walking by? Folks walking their dog. I'm like, maybe I should be quiet till they go by. But I'm in my car minding my business.
Right.
I'm keep on talking.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I'm just focusing on the camera.
Yeah.
And then I got to make sure I see where the actual camera is, because otherwise I'll be looking like I'm cockeyed or something. Like, where is the camera? Look here.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird initially, but
So you gonna keep it in the car?
I think so.
Okay, you're not gonna change the setup.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's a good spot because it gives me a chance to get out the house.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids is doing anything, wife's doing her thing or whatever, I'll just stop out real quick.
Yeah.
Hit it with a key, and I generally will try to record a couple a day. Again, and a lot of it really, to be honest with you, is based on the sunlight.
Really?
I get out there in that car and I hit record. I be like, man, I look like super duper dark, or you can only see half my face. Well, I guess I ain't doing no key right now. So then I timed it. It's so crazy. I timed it like, okay, 7 o'clock in the morning to about 8. It's perfect for a key.
Yeah.
When it gets to about 9:30, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I have to wait till later when the sun goes down. So.
Yeah, and they're not long. They're like nice bite size.
Yeah.
Still 5-6 minutes. Some even
just
3-4 minutes. Just quick. Here's a little nugget for the day.
Yeah.
Take that with you.
Right. That's why I say it's just your key.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole set of keys. Just one key. You get the door open and get you where you need to go.
Right.
So.
There's another one that you did that I liked. What was it called? Don't Be a Joke. You was laying the hammer down on that one. I was like, ooh.
Right.
Like, oh man. Yeah. I was like, hey, the truth hurts sometimes.
That's one of them ones that comes after an experience. And
Yes.
you get home, you be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Record.
Yeah.
Y'all better not be.
You said a lot in that one. One thing that stood out to me in that one was when you mentioned as far as being an entrepreneur and pursuing businessship, where you said, in order for you to be successful with your business or be an entrepreneur, be whole as a person first. And that stood out to me so much. Like, because I see a lot of, especially my generation coming up, we're business minded, we're entrepreneurial thinking. Like, I ain't getting no 9 to 5. I'm gonna get a hustle.
Sure.
I'm gonna do something.
Right.
And then I find a lot of us, particularly in my generation, we're so in a pursuit to rush to get that success or that dollar or to get whatever it is we're chasing, that we neglect that self-growth.
Right.
And then what you were explaining, that spills over into your business, because you're saying like you are the business card.
Right,
You're the
right.
walking billboard.
Right.
You before you
Right.
can blow up your business, you're the business.
Yeah.
So don't be a joke.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, I want to talk to him about that one. Where did that come from? Just out of the list?
Yeah, it was out of the list, and like I said, when I read through the list, something will just speak to me or just fall in my heart. I'm okay. All right, this one for today.
Did you see a certain person, or you just kept seeing the same thing over and over?
I mean, I think a lot of that comes from being an entrepreneur and trying to connect with different people. I'm always trying to give an opportunity for somebody. Not necessarily an opportunity to work with me, but an opportunity to build on something.
Sure.
So you may, do t-shirts. So I'll give you a chance. I just left my t-shirt deal. I'm like, hey, I got 10 blank t-shirts. I'm gonna give them to you. Let me see what you can do. And we'll see how this business will lead us into potentially more business, or if I just pay you for the work you done and move on about my business.
Yeah.
But in the midst of doing that and having that mentality, I don't necessarily get burned, but I'm disappointed a lot. I see people who have talent and can do amazing things and have done amazing things, but just struggle putting it all together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no separation between you and your business. It's the same stuff. So you can't be coming at me sideways. Oh, well, you got this app and you got that app. And I'm just like, no, I don't got that. Can I write your check? Well, I ain't got no bank account. I'm like, huh? So you ain't even doing business, man. I mean, we transacting,
Right.
but you ain't about no business. And I can't fault you. You may have your reasons, whatever. But, stuff like that will keep you back, man. So you got to work on yourself and fix yourself, your mentality. I don't want to deal with these white folks. I don't want to deal with these black folks. That's going to keep you back in business.
Yeah. And especially today, there's a lot of black empowerment going on.
Right.
Black owned. I don't need that cracker's money.
Right.
Like, you don't?
Right.
Like,
Right.
All right. Man, that's interesting as far as especially the volume of businesses that's being created, LLCs and sole proprietorships and entities and nonprofits, and you see so many of them. They they start and then you just don't hear from them again. It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, I was rooting for you.
Right.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, my finances, or I didn't have this set up. I didn't have the proper team around me, or I tried to do everything by myself.
Yeah.
And
Find that a lot.
whoo-wee.
And sometimes folks try to blame it on stuff when it's you.
For the failure of it.
Yeah. Oh, because, every time I'm in the hood, black folks want to hook up. Don't nobody want to buy nothing.
Yeah.
Well, some of that may be true, but that ain't the sole reason why you fail. Because you can tell somebody no.
Right.
Or this is already discounted.
Right.
Or you can hit them with you treat everybody else like that.
Right.
You're gonna go into CVS and be like, this $12.50, I give you 10. You can hit them whatever you want. So that ain't the sole reason. Sometimes that's why I say you got to focus on you. Sometimes it's you and your mentality or your approach. And I've always taken this to heart. And I tell people, if you want to be bigger in business, operate now like you're bigger. Don't wait till you get bigger and then, we got to try to change some stuff, fix some stuff. If you operate like you're bigger now, then when you get bigger, it's just second nature. Yeah. Instead of waiting to get that volume. Oh, we got 100 orders. I don't know what to do. Well, you wanted 100 orders. Why you didn't prepare yourself for 100 orders? You wanted 1,000 listeners. Now when people are tuning in every week, you forgetting to drop episodes. I mean, you wanted it.
Yeah.
So you got to plan for it now. And if you got to say every day, every week at this time, I'm going to record to make sure I have enough episodes on the back shelf. Yeah. That way, if you get sick, go out of town or whatever, you can just pump it out however. You got to do it bigger now and not later on, because it'll hurt you in business. For real. So. Right.
Man, that's true, man. That's true. I see it all the time, especially with my generation. There's one thing that I thought about when I was listening to your The Keys series, right. Or little snippets. Right. Is I could tell that you're a religious man, very faith-based. And it made me thought about a previous episode I did with Jonathan Allen. Okay. It's a good buddy of mine who I went to college with, and he's very much the same as far as spirituality. Okay. Very strong with it. And it made me think about that episode, and I wanted to ask you about that. As far as about the church today. Okay. And the roles it play as far as, because we got into a lot of stuff. We got into the negative things that people have to say about the church, especially our community. Right. Oh yeah. All the church does is take money. Church don't give back. Church never on the front lines when something happens. Sure. The church just take. Mm-hmm. The church is outdated. They follow these old models. Right. They behind. Mm-hmm. They're far behind. I just wanted to talk to you about those things individually. So we could start with just in general, what role today does the church play in society in general? Let's start there.
So I'm going to give you the old man version. Meaning I'm going to answer your question. Yeah. I ain't dodging it. But I'm just going to take the old man stroll to get to it.
There we go.
And the reason why I say that is because people have this thing about churches where they always got something to say about it. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, people always have a strong opinion. And the thing that I find funny is your job, you have a strong opinion about your job, but you don't stop going to work. People be like, the church. I ain't never going to church. You hate your boss, but you're going to show up every single day when you're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, you're going to get fired. So don't use what happened in the past as your reason to never grow spiritually. Now, if you looking at the church building as something, that's the problem. The building is designed to house a spirit. And it's almost like I liken it to college. Okay. It's people talk about their church like the university. So it's like me saying, Jay Brody, have a seat. We're going to interview you for this position. Tell me a little about yourself. Well, I went to Ohio State University. Okay, that's cool. And, tell me a little bit about your skills as a podcaster. Where at the Ohio State University? It's like, okay, keep talking about Ohio State. So, all right, tell me, you're from Philly, yeah, and at the Ohio State University. Like, dude, you keep... Yeah. Don't keep talking about the church. Yeah. The church is designed to be a place, a safe haven, if you will, or a place to bring God into. And if you go into any church, I don't care the size, the side of town, or the city, if whatever you're hearing is not bringing your deity, whether it's Allah, whether it's Dios, whether it's Jehovah, whether it's God, if it's not bringing the Almighty into the forefront or into the passenger seat with you, then you're in the wrong place. And what people get caught up on is the stuff that you see that's true, but they don't know all the inner workings. And here's what I mean.
Okay.
You say, oh, well, this church, man, they're all about money, and they keep passing around this offering plate, and they want these tithes. Okay, that may be happening. Yeah. But do you happen to know how much it costs for the mortgage for the church? Especially when the building's huge? Right. And do you have any idea what that light bill looks like? And how about the water bill?
These things we don't see behind the scenes.
You got to pay insurance every time the snow's out and somebody comes to plow the lot and put down salt. You got to pay for that. Yeah. You probably got secretaries on staff. You got to pay for those folks. You got all type of extracurricular activities. Folks is on payroll. You got to pay for all that stuff. So when you hear people talk about tithes and offering, what the tithes is supposed to be for is this. Tithes is supposed to be when you go and you sit down and you hear that word and you say, you know what? That word touched me, or that word strengthened me, or I believe that word, if other people heard it, they would be in a better position. So because of it, I'm going to tithe. I'm going to pay into what I heard so that ministry will continue on. It's no different than going to a restaurant and they bring out your steak and your food. You say, you know what? I like what you prepared. Here is the bill. Here's the credit card. Go ahead and run. I like what you did. That's what tithes is for. It's to take care of the ministry, to make sure the ministry goes forward if you believe that it has touched you, reached you, and can reach somebody else. Right. Now, if you sitting there and you be like, man, this is slow. What are y'all doing? What are y'all talking about? Then you should not tithe because you do not believe what you're hearing is beneficial to your soul, to your spiritual growth, and you don't believe it's going to help somebody else who's struggling. Not only should you not tithe, but you should get up and leave. Because why would you sit there? Why would you sit there if you feel like it's foolish? Or they playing games, or it's some hoodwinking or whatever? Why would you sit there? So
really, what we're getting at is that I think a lot of people feel like, oh, the church makes me feel like I'm obligated, that I gotta give. If I don't give, then I'm not,
There's some of that going on.
And that pressure, that guilt, it's like...
Yeah. And to your point, and that's why, again, what I mean with the inner workings is people don't realize that these pastors have gone to school and learned things that the average person will never learn.
Theology.
So not only do they learn theology, the things of the Bible, but they also learn how to, quote unquote, get money out of people. So, for example, if you go to a church and they say, all right, it's tithes and offering time. It's time to give. Everybody know what that means. You got to come up off that bread. That's how it goes.
That's right.
So what they'll do is little stuff like this that we know, but we don't know why they do it. They'll say, I need everybody on this side to get up and everybody come down here and drop your money into this little pot.
That is taught.
It's taught. So they teach you. So now you feel guilty when you either sit there and don't move, or you come up front and you don't have no money to give. So they make everybody come up there so that you feel obligated to reach into your pocket to come up with some money.
It ain't optional.
Yeah, so they do little stuff like that to get money out of it.
Wow.
Now, am I saying it's right or wrong? I'm just saying that's what it is.
That's the practice.
So that's the little games that you play, and folks don't realize it.
Wow.
So that pressure is real.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, if you feel like it's strengthening you, then give. If you don't, man, go on up there and just tap that plate and just move on about your business. Like,
yeah. Then they gotta worry about all the gossip.
Yeah.
No, of course you ain't giving nothing.
Yeah. So all that stuff is real.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's those inner workings, because most of the people who would look at you like, he ain't even put no money in there, they generally know the inner workings because they having those conversations. They're at those round tables. Yeah. They see those bills. They know money is going to certain places. So that's why they looking. They're not fools. But yeah, that pressure's real.
Yeah. I still got a friend. AM the Queen, she was on the episode as well, and she was telling me about her tithing. She's in the church heavy as well. In fact, she's in the choir ministry aspect of it, playing the keys and singing and whatnot. And she was telling me that ever since she started giving to the church as far as consistently.
Okay.
Tithing, offering, all of that. She said her life and her earnings financially tripled.
Okay.
She said like ever since like just an abundance of blessings. Like she said sometimes I just look at my bank account and it's like where's this coming
Sure.
from? And she was just kind of like seeing the difference of her giving from her heart. And she said I seen that 3 times over ever since I started it. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So like just hearing how you talked about how like if it touches you, if you feel that invocation, go ahead and do it.
Right.
If you don't, hey.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, if you go to that restaurant and they don't prepare your meal the way you want it, are you still gonna eat it?
Right.
You're gonna be like, send this back.
Yeah.
And make it again, or give me something else, or you know what, I'm just out of here.
Yeah, take my business elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or find another church.
Because the thing about me, and I know sometimes people will hear me and maybe listening now and be like, man, it don't sound like you really like church.
Right.
The reality of it is I'm much more spiritual than I am religious.
That's a difference.
Yeah, I'm not into the dogma or the orthodox and the custom. I understand them. I get it. Yeah. It has its place. You can't just let folks in up off the street and just be like, hey, God says sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some structure. So I get it, but I think that the church, to your point of your question earlier, the church has got some work to do in terms of their role. There is some school principles to it, meaning people have changed. Your cell phone has changed. The laptops have changed, but school hasn't. Right. You still got to sit there for 40 minutes and listen to the teacher talk, and it's been the same since well before our mothers and mothers' mothers was born. Yeah. So the church has some aspects where it's just like, okay, this is the same old stuff. Now, I am not saying that you're supposed to come up with some old new, brand new stuff. Yeah. The word is still the word, but you have to let God be God. And when you let God be God, God doesn't change. Yeah. And the church is trying to change to bring members in. And we're going to have Jersey Day because the young people like the jerseys. Yeah. Or we're going to be twirling some towels around, and you think that's attracting young folks. And while it does, here's how the bank looks at it. The bank says, oh, Jay Brody, you got the Church of Jay Brody. Congratulations. And you got all of these members. They look at it as giving units. And they say, you got all of these giving units, meaning these are the people who are tithing, are paying into the ministry. So they'll say, you got all these young people. Young people bring more young people. That's great. But young people don't tithe.
Correct.
They'll say older people, not bringing no new people in, but they going to tithe.
Wow. Man, that's an ill breakdown.
So all the young folks, so if you're trying to do it for the young folks, you'll get all kind of young folks to come in and be like, man, my pastor, he cool, man. We be doing this, we be doing that. A whole bunch of stuff that ain't got nothing to do with God, mind you. Right. My pastor do this and he let us do this. We open to all this stuff and the church will be full, but the church ain't got no money because the young folks ain't tithing.
And that's where the lines get blurred.
And then the older folks be like, we are not feeling this new stuff. God has not changed. The Spirit of God is not moving and all of that stuff. We are not interested. And we the one to pay the bills here. Who you want to cater to?
That's where you get that conflict
going. Who you want to cater to? You want the lights to stay on, or y'all want to have a good time in the dark?
So even in the church, there's a division.
Yeah.
Golly, man. That's, man.
You're going to have that regardless. And it's not just the church. I mean, you're going to have a division in this area. Some people going to live in this complex and be like, I love it here. The other people, I can't wait to get out here. Man, when my lease up, man, I'm renewing my lease, man. I've been on month to month since I've been here. You're going to find it in a relationship. I'm married. My wife and I, we ain't going to always see eye to eye on everything. My kids don't see eye to eye on everything. So it's not just exclusive to the church. You bring individuals into any space, come from different walks of life, and they always gonna see things differently. Man. So that's why I said earlier, you can't just say, oh, well, the church did this, I ain't never going to church. Right. Well, your job done did some stuff too.
You still
bet you show up on Monday.
Need that check.
Yeah, you gonna show up, put this shirt on, blue shirt Monday, purple shirt Tuesday, you gonna smile and talk like yes, and you gonna talk like they want you to talk, and you go home and be like, oh, I can't stand it.
That's right.
But don't use what happened as the scapegoat for never coming to God. And that's why I say I'm more spiritual than religious. Because if you're spiritual, you can find God in the Almighty, the Creator, anywhere. Now, yes, is it good to fellowship with like-minded people? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's no different than entrepreneurs getting together with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You ain't speaking to somebody who got a 9-to-5 all the time as an entrepreneur. They don't get it.
Right.
They be like, well, but you're going to go to work, aren't you? Like, no, I don't want to be at that job. But you get benefits and it's secure. But that's what I'm trying to get away from.
Exactly.
And you get 4 weeks of vacation time. I want to go on vacation when I feel like it.
Right. It got to be approved.
Yeah. This is busy season. Sorry, you can't be sick.
Yeah.
Get in here.
In fact, we need you to pick up a shift.
Yeah. You getting ready to get off in 10 minutes? Not now. You're staying.
Right. His name is Lemire T. Dennis.
Yeah,
having some good talk right here, man. I think it's a good time to take a break. We got plenty more to talk about. We're going to take a quick break. Before we get into this break, let the people know where they can connect with you at your website, your social media, all that. Go ahead.
I got too much stuff.
Plug the main stuff you want to plug.
Right,
You got to plug everything, the important stuff.
Yeah, man. So you can find us on YouTube at LTD channel 614. You can also find us on Facebook at the same, and IG at the same as well. Make sure when you're on YouTube that you take a look at Tymar, which is the docu-series, The Story of My Life, which we'll get into a little bit.
That's right.
But definitely check that out. It's major, it's heavy. It's about me without it being about me. But you'll love it. And, yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll take a quick break right here, right on Call Talk Podcast.
You fucking with a grown nigga, don't you? Hey, you grew up in a house full of boys, you think you know niggas, don't you? Yeah. I don't know you for this long, I still feel like I don't even know you. Big vibes, I think you bipolar, how you switch sides. I hate when your friends try to pick sides, and you say that without me you'll be just fine. But word around town, I heard you miss side. You always sending messages to a third party. Hashtag relationship goals, call me, no willing. Jada more like Offset and Cardi. Hey shawty, I done took too long saying wait for me. You the type to go to church and pray for me. I can't ignore you, made for me. Yeah, I want you more, cause I know you got me. And I love too hard to just love anybody. Yeah. I want you more, yeah. Cause I know you got me. And I love too hard to just love anybody. Yeah. Ay. You know. Just don't keep your guard up. Damn right. Yeah. Cause I love too hard, yeah. You know. Yeah. We been through it all, yeah. You said, how come we not together? You tried to rush, put me under pressure. I said I love you, sex unprotected. You in my phone like, babe, who we texting? You can't compare me to all your exes. I do all that and got the nerve to call you crazy, yo. I don't want my girl normal, baby. Yeah. Calling. If you ain't crazy, you boring. Ain't tryna break another heart again. That was the old me, pardon him. No more lies, all in. Close your eyes, make a wish. Hold your pride for him. I am him and you are her, and I'm convinced. I want you more, cause I know you got me. And I love too hard to just love anybody. Yeah. I want you more, yeah. Cause I know you got me. And I love too hard to just love anybody. Yeah. Ay. You know. Just don't keep your guard up. Damn right. Yeah. Cause I love too hard, yeah. You know. Yeah. We been through it all, yeah. Yeah.
All right, we are back right here on Call Talk Podcast. Lemire is still here.
I'm still here. I've
Causing a
survived.
ruckus.
Right. Tearing up the place.
That's right. Right in the back of his old stumping grounds where it all started.
Yeah, right. You sorry?
Do you think today's generation is disrespectful? The younger generation?
Yeah, no. And I say that because you can't. It's not fair to just lump a whole generation of folks. I mean, think about everybody disrespectful.
The entire generation.
The whole, every single one of them. I think that
the youngsters coming up today.
they're different, man. I mean,
fuck this, fuck that,
yeah,
fuck
man,
you.
yeah,
I ain't doing shit.
yeah.
I do what I want.
I mean, you'll get
Like,
that. You
damn.
can get that from a 70-year-old. I'm assuming, you know. So it ain't just this generation. I think that the times are, especially what we're seeing now with social unrest. And,
man.
you know, things political. I think people just fed up, man, and folks are tired of playing the game.
Yeah.
That's one thing, if nothing else, that I appreciate about these young folks is they just like, look, man, we making our own lane. We hear you. And that's noble. You know, you want to go work for that company for 30 years and 40 and retire when you're 56. We ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I stay here for 3 years, you better applaud me. 'Cause this is, you know, I wanted to leave after 6 months. So I don't necessarily think that the whole is disrespectful, but I definitely think that they are so many generations removed from fathers in the house that they tend to lash out differently. And let me give you another example. You take, you know, I grew up in the inner city, in the hood.
Yeah.
So you take some young folks, let's say a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, who out selling dope. And, you know, he making bank. I mean, $1,000, $2,000 day, whatever have you. Who he selling drugs to? Older people, right?
Yeah.
Adults. So then you turn around and be like, you need to respect your adults. And he'd be like, man, that's all the folks who buy this drugs,
Right.
man. And all the people who be acting like they got it together at these 9-to-5s, and I'm selling dope to pastors and all of these different people. Yeah.
They paying my bills.
Yeah, they paying my bills, and you want me to turn around and respect them. I'm just like, I'm not feeling that. And then my dad wasn't around, and my mom might be talking about him like, you know, maybe she shouldn't in front of me. And her dad wasn't around, and his dad wasn't around. You know what? No.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect you so much. I'll give you, hey, how you doing? And respect you when I need to. But I think that they on a different wavelength, man. They just,
Man.
and we need it. We need it because there was a generation where my mother's generation and above them, they got out and made it happen. But some of them making it happen was some begging and pleading and asking and signing up and doing all of these different things. These young folks like, we ain't waiting.
You're right. They going to get it.
We going to get it now. Where the store at?
Right.
Where the rock? You know, where the cop? Where the camera? Let's make it happen.
Right.
And I'm not saying that those things you should do.
Right.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they wired differently, man. So you can't expect.
They want it now.
Yeah, they want it
man.
now. And I get it because some of them get it now.
Right.
And I tell my kids this all the time. I've had this conversation with my wife. This generation is so unique where my kids can come to me and say, Dad, I've been thinking about it. And you know what? I don't want to go to college. I think college is a waste of time. It's boring. You know, all I want to do with the rest of my life is just, you know, just play my video game. That's all I want to do for the rest of my life, just play my video game. Now, when I was growing up, it'd be like, what? Hey, boy, you better turn off that game right now, as a matter of fact, talking like that. You've been on it too long today. I'm monitoring you tomorrow. The next after that. Matter of fact, we may just have to throw it out. You must be crazy.
You probably couldn't even say that statement.
Right. You couldn't come off like that. It was either you're going to go to college or you're going to go to military because you're getting out of here.
Damn.
But now this young generation could come like that, and you actually have to consider it. Because these young folks is doing stuff and they making money.
Yeah.
Making millions of dollars from a TikTok video?
Nuts.
For real?
Nuts.
No, I don't know nothing about it. I ain't on no TikTok. I'm just saying that you making a 15-second video and you making more money than folks who are running corporations and us as entrepreneurs is currently making.
I'm gonna tell you no.
Yeah, you gotta listen. So what I tell my children to that point is, give me a logical explanation.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. And as the parent, it's my job to help walk you through it or help give you what you didn't see or what you didn't think of. So while you may want to ride your BMX bike for the rest of your life, and while you may get sponsors and notoriety and be on tour and all of these different things from that, do you know what happens when you get injured and you can't ride? Is there a constant check coming in? Do you have to get back to health after so long, or the next greatest one come along? Are they picking them up and dropping you?
Yeah.
Do you know where your benefits is going to come from?
Right.
I try to help walk you through that stuff that you're not thinking about. So if you still want to do that, then it's my job to help you to look at either the certification, the registration, those different things to help to pursue that. I ain't gonna help you with no foolish stuff.
Yeah.
But it's my job to invest in your dreams and what you want to do.
It goes back to don't be a joke.
Yeah, yeah, and you got to do that, especially when, and this is part of like what you mentioned earlier. You got to be whole yourself, because I can't be selfish and be like, well, I can't really help you because I'm trying to get my business off the ground.
Yeah.
Whether you say that or whether your actions show that, you got to give into them, man. You got to pour into them before you turn around and be like, man, I really ain't been spending no time with you. It just hit me recently. My son, my oldest son, my middle child, loves basketball. And he's always out in the front of the house playing. And it hit me like, am I spending as much time with him as he's putting in the work himself? Now, I ain't got to go out with him every single day. So maybe one day I'll go out and we'll just shoot jumpers. And the next day we're going to go out, we just going to work on the post. And the next time we're going to go out, I'm going to tell you, I ain't going this time. I'm going to watch you from the door. Go out and work on your left hand. Like I told him the other day, you are a set shot shooter, but you're not going to always get wide open shots. You got to learn how to shoot off the dribble. So just take the ball, literally, just turn a direction, throw it up in the air, let it bounce one time, catch it, and shoot it. So you can learn how to shoot it off the dribble and do it all around the court and just work on that.
Yeah.
So that's what we got to do as parents. That's what we got to do as entrepreneurs. That's what we got to do just as a village, is we got to be able to invest in the next person to help them to grow. And that's how we'll grow. Yeah. If I all want to do everything myself and it's all on me, then I can come off as vain and selfish. Yeah. But if I pour into you and you pour into somebody else and somebody else pour into somebody else, then we just lifting each other up. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like me pouring into me, but indirectly. Right. Like, I'm gonna need you to pour in me. I'm gonna pour into you. Let's pour into somebody else, and we all just lifting each other up.
Right. We all can flourish.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think a lot of we look at it like, well, he just doing his thing. I don't understand it, so let him go do his thing. He's shooting his ball. He's shooting, right. But in reality, he's probably like, in the inside, like, I wish that would.
Right. Exactly.
Like, I don't want to have to
show some interest. Yeah. At least stand in the door, wave your hand, something. Not just, oh, he outside now and go to sleep.
Right. How old are your kids?
So my oldest just turned 14.
Okay.
My oldest boy, who I was just talking about, just turned 13. And then my youngest is 5.
Okay, got 3.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Well, I don't have any kids.
So I can tell with all this equipment down there, they've been tore up all this stuff.
Right. Like, no mics on the floor, right. Camera's still in good
condition. All you hear is, what y'all doing down there?
Right.
Sorry. Oh, what do I hear all the time? Whoopsie.
I can imagine with your business. Oh my goodness, you probably got stuff. Lock boxes in.
They're cases. Older, and I've been at it for a while, so they're older.
They understand.
I'm in the basement. You know, I try to make it, and that's another one of those keys in there. Is I try to make it a point when I can pop out and spend time with them, do it. Yeah. You ain't busy like that all the time. You ain't got to be in the office all the time. 5 minutes, finish this, 10 minutes, do that. Then let me pop out, let me breathe, let me see how everybody's doing, let me laugh, let me play. And then in the minute, I gotta go. And then let me head back down and finish up stuff. So,
we're going to get into this docu-series, man. It's time to get into it.
Let's do it.
Woo-wee. Yeah. This, man. Okay, so let's start from the beginning with this. This story is it's like movie shit. So you hear the movie like, what? Right. So, well, I'll let you tell it. But at the age of 12, you witnessed your biological father shoot and murder your mother.
Yeah.
12 years old. Just the headline. It's like you just want to dig more into it. Like, what?
Right.
So, what can you describe before we talk about, you know, what you've seen and how it went down? What was that? Can you describe what that day was like at first? Like, what was that day like?
Oh, I remember it very well. It was Saturday, March 12th, 1988.
Exact date you remember.
Yeah,
how could you forget a date like that?
I remember that very well.
Wow.
And I was at home, and not too far from here, East Side. So for those who know the Columbus area, I was on 6th Avenue, like the Crum Park area, so 5th, 6th, all that type stuff. So I'm at the house, and I'm watching the NCAA tournament. And watching games like normal, back when the floor models was popping, had the floor model TV. So I'm watching the game.
And what year is this?
88.
88.
88. So I'm watching the game, and I'm probably getting my peanut butter and jelly on, smashing. Mom is she left out with her boyfriend, and that's the part I'll tell you about here in a little bit. Yeah, Mom. So my mom and her boyfriend, they getting ready to head out, and just as usual, my mom would tell me, if your dad calls, no, I ain't here. And she would say that even if she was there, I ain't here. I mean, there was never a time she's there. She's never, I'm not here.
So y'all all live together, you, mom and dad, or your dad? Y'all live separately?
Oh boy. I guess as a whole, this is the disclaimer.
There's a little detail there.
What I'm getting ready to tell you,
oh God,
it's so much deeper than what you even told. Yeah, it's even deeper. It's even deeper. Wow. So let me go all the way back to come forward.
Okay.
So when I was 12, my dad had been in jail for at least 5 years.
He said he was a convicted felon. He was out in the streets.
Oh yeah. He was getting it in.
Woo.
So he had been in jail for at least 5 years, and that was the second time, I believe, that he was in prison. Not jail, but prison. And this was the first time he was in prison for murder.
Wow.
This murder actually made it into a book. There's a book. I'm not going to tell the name of it because I don't do no free advertising without that check. But I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
There's a book that you can find that tells the story of a young lady and her family as they were driving down Broad Street, coming from graduation. They had came in town to see their daughter graduate. My dad and his crew fighting against some other crew, shooting back and forth across Broad Street. His bullet, they say, ended up killing her. So he went to jail for that. It was such a big deal that they made a song about it, like a nationally song. Yeah, it was a big old song called Thinking of Laura that was revolving around this young lady. So my dad went to jail for that. So while my dad was in jail, it was just me and my mom. And when my dad got out of jail, my mom had moved on. She had another boyfriend. But my dad on some old, hey, I ain't got nowhere to go. What I'm going to do. And for whatever reason, my mom was like, well, you can stay here on the couch for a little bit till you get yourself back on your feet. Well, she still got a boyfriend.
Right.
So I'm assuming my dad was just like, yeah, I hear you, couch. And he probably sat on the couch till he was tired of sitting on the couch. And after a while, he like, look, if I can't have you, nobody can type deal. So now fast forward.
Yes.
So, my dad called that day. Where's your mom? She ain't here. My mom and I had just had a conversation. Get this, of all things. We had just had a conversation, an argument. She telling me, tomorrow, you going to church. I'm like, church? We don't never go to church. I mean, literally, we don't.
Y'all never went to
We never went to church. Like, we didn't go for Christmas, Easter, New Year, the bar mitzvah, the baptism. We didn't go for nothing. I'm like, church? Like, where is this coming from? Like, your boyfriend don't go to church. You don't go to church. I'm like, what?
Just out of nowhere.
No, out of nowhere. So they leave and go to the grocery store. And they gone, and now, like I said, I'm watching basketball, just doing my thing. And after a while, it get kind of late. So I'm just like, where my mom at? They've been gone for a while. But I'm still in the basketball. You know how the tournament go. They got games on all day.
Oh, yeah.
You can fall asleep, wake up, another game on. So I'm watching. And after a while, I do start to get worried. And for whatever reason, I was led to go into my mother's room. I probably had to climb up on something and look out her bedroom window. And when I look out her window, I see her boyfriend's car. I'm like, oh, okay, there's the car.
You recognize the car.
I recognize the car. And the car door's still open. And there's a bag of groceries on top of the car. And there's a person laying on the ground with blood coming from him. Now, keep in mind, I had heard the gunshots. But in that area, gunshots was nothing. I mean, that's just the norm. Yeah. 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue.
Similar to me, how I grew up in Philly.
Right.
They put me to sleep. I'm like,
I'm just like, there's some gunshots. Long as they ain't coming through the window, I guess we good.
Yep.
But like I said, I go out and look out the window, and I didn't think twice. Went on back to basketball, but as it got later, now I'm thinking, okay, now something just like, I think that's my mom out there. So then I go back and look again, And I'm like, I don't know. And I called my aunt, my mom's sister. I said, I think that's my mom out there. And she's just like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm not sure. And she's like, can you check? So I was like, I'll try. So I leave out the apartment and I go to the edge of the parking lot and I look as close as I can. And I'm just kind of froze. I can't move anymore. I'm 12.
Yeah.
Can't move anymore. Go back in the house. And I automatically start looking through my mom's things. Like, okay, where's her shoes? Where's her jacket? Because she would have this and she would have this. And I go through a period of, okay, that ain't her because this is here. Well, yes, it is because this is missing. And then I end up calling my aunt back and I said, I think that is my mom.
Wow.
So they ended up calling, the police, and come to find out what happened was my dad had parked on Fifth Avenue at the local bar, doing his thing. Then comes to our house and is basically hiding behind the building in the shadows. So as soon as they get out the car, he just starts shooting. So he shot my mom and he shot her boyfriend. And he's had several operations. And granted, this was 88, but to this day, he still can't talk.
Really?
Yeah.
The mom's boyfriend.
Yeah, he still can't talk, and then my mother died. But he had enough strength, her boyfriend had enough strength to stumble across the street, bang, and fell in my neighbor's door. And they ended up calling the police as well. So they called the police, and my aunt called the police. And yeah, so that was just that night. And then, as you can imagine, all of the cops and the detectives and all of the questions and me crying and all these people in your face. And all I remember, not all I remember, but the next thing I remember, I just wanted to go to sleep.
Really?
Just too many questions, just too much going through my mind. I'm crying my eyes out.
You're mentally exhausted.
Yeah, mentally exhausted. I don't have a dad and a mom now because everyone knows my dad did it. He left and went over like his mother, my grandma's house. And as soon as he come in the door, what you did? Well, you better not. They already knew.
Damn.
They
knew it was him.
Yeah, they knew it was him because at this point, I think it was on the news. So as soon as they say
it made news quick.
Yeah, as soon as they say her name, like they knew. The whole story, and I still have the article, made the front page of the Columbus Dispatch.
Wow.
Like not no little article, but like the huge
whole
picture.
Story.
That's where, if you see the pictures with the Tymar, with the lady with the tears coming down,
right.
That's my aunt, my mother's only living sister, testifying in court.
Wow.
So that was I still, like I said, I still have that article.
Man.
So yeah, that was the day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
Welcome to 12, right?
Right. You're 12 years old.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow. Growing up in Philly, I witnessed some stuff. I think when I was like 9 or 8, there was someone who got shot right next to me, an older guy. I was it was me and a guy named Orlando. You remember those Razor scooters?
Mm-hmm.
We had one of them and we was like, let's race. And we started to get back for like, I could beat you. Like, no, I could beat you.
Sure.
So I grew up in a project building, 18-story project building, Mantua, for those my Philly listeners listening.
There you
go. Right in West Philly. And we racing around the project building and whatnot. And I'm going and I stopped for a second and Orlando's going. I lost him. So I'm thinking like, man, did I win? Did I beat him? Like, where is he?
Mm-hmm.
And then all I heard was, motherfucker, didn't I tell you I had my money? Boom, boom, boom. And everything just slowed down.
Wow.
I just looked to the left of me and I just see this guy drop to his knees with his head up, with his hands up, drop to his knees, and he just falls over.
Wow.
And then right after that, everything just went in regular motion, everything just snapped back.
I bet.
And I just seen everybody just running into the project building. I'm just standing there froze like, just looking at the guy, like 9 or 8 years old.
Wow.
And I tell people that story, and they're like, how do you survive in an environment like that? And like how we're saying, like stuff like that, that's every day.
Right.
Like you were saying, those gunshots, you hear like,
right.
just more gunshots. Right. I'm used to it.
Right.
And I'm just like, damn. So I'm just it's like, well, let me go follow everybody running into the building then. So I probably don't get shot.
Right.
And then I end up in the investigation because they rope it off and, loudmouth neighbors like, did anybody see me? Hey, that little boy.
He was there.
He said that little boy. Because I dropped my scooter and the scooter's right next to the body. And they was like, whose scooter is it?
Right.
We know whose scooter that is. Sure. That's my mom's Nadine. That's Nadine boy. That's Nadine.
Right. Don't get Nadine boy.
So I end up in the goddamn police department. They questioned me. I got to write witness statement. I'm
Right.
9 years old.
Right. Wow.
But yeah, man, that's nothing on the level of. I mean, yeah, you're seeing death, but that your mother and your father. That's, man. Woo. I wonder, like, what I know we kind of talked about your father a little bit as far as like the type of lifestyle he lived. What type of person was he? Was he? I mean, I understand you probably can't speak a lot because he wasn't there or he was just too young. Like, as far as you know, what type of person was he? I mean, he was in and out of prison, obviously, but
according to his own words, he's a gangster.
Gangster,
and that's what he told me from his own mouth. He's
really?
like, I'm just a gangster. I've always been a gangster.
Wow.
And his brother, who passed not so long ago, my Uncle Ted, he told me, my Uncle Ted talked like this, you know. And at the end of every sentence was, you know. So he's like, listen here, Lemire. He's like, you and Jerome, you come from a long line of strong-armed robbers, pimps, and thieves, you know. So according to my dad's side of the family, that's just what they did.
All the men was
just, and not just the men, because my grandmother, which is their mom, she sold pills and she had her little private juke joints and all that type of stuff. So she got it in, and they're all from Cleveland. So true Cleveland, not like Orangeville Highway, Cleveland.
Cleveland is rough, bro.
Yeah,
I've been up there.
Yeah, so they from Cleveland. So that's why sometimes I feel sorry for him. And as I tell people, when they hear my story, they often look at me like the victim. And while I was the victim, I'm now the victor because I've come out and I'm okay. Yeah. But I look at my dad as the victim because you almost didn't have a choice based on how you grew up and what was surrounding you. You almost didn't have. I mean, we already know you suffer from a lack of resources because you black in the United States. And
the odds are against you already.
So, I mean, you already don't know how to do half the stuff you need to do and don't have. You just don't. Yeah. Not to mention, you know, who you surrounding yourself with, they influence you. Wow. So I feel bad for him. You know, he probably could have done a whole bunch of different things. I know he was a Golden Glove boxer, and, you know, that's what he really wanted to do. And I think before he was supposed to have one of his big fights, he had got locked up. Wow. He was really good with his hands. He was a welder. He was also a photographer, just like I am. So could have done a whole lot of things. But when the world around you is suffocating you, then you can either get on life support, which is, you know, get somewhere else by some other means, or sometimes you just choke out and you just die, man. And not just physically, but just die in terms of your aspirations or your drive, and you just be like, I'm just gonna be a gangster, man. Yeah. If you got it, I'm gonna steal it. You know, if I don't got it, I'm gonna sell enough dope to get it, and that's just how I'm gonna live. Wow. You know, so.
As you was, I hate to get all detailed and graphical, but as you was walking up to your mother's, you know, body laying there, pretty much just losing life or lifeless at that point. What was, I know you're 12 years old, like, what's, like, you're looking at your mother's dead, and you just seeing the blood. Just what's in your head at that moment, if you can recall?
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't. And I remember very vividly that I wasn't scared. Like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I just literally couldn't move.
You just froze.
I just got as far as I could get, which is probably farther than probably a lot of people would get. But I just got as far as I could get, and I mean, that was pretty much it. Wow. So
and you went back then, called.
Yeah, just went back in. But the thing that was so heavy, as that is heavy, is as I tell people sometimes, and it sounds kind of weird, so I have to explain it. Is that wasn't the hardest part for me?
Really,
that wasn't actually hard. And here's what I mean.
Wow.
Is when somebody's killed, and it just happens, you're just forced to deal with it. You don't have no choice.
You got no time to think.
You ain't got no time to think. You just got to deal with it, or you got to react or whatever. Yeah. Now, if somebody had been suffering for a while and you could prepare yourself for it, to me, that's difficult because you're seeing it every day. Yeah. And you used to have your mind. Now, mom doesn't know who I am, and dad keeps falling, and he's on this and that. That would be tough. But to me, I just had to deal with it, so I didn't have any choice. But what was more difficult for me was when I had to testify against him in court. I was the key witness in the murder trial.
That's right.
So that was difficult for me.
Wow.
And I remember when my day on the stand, I only had one day on the stand. I even remember what I had on.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember I had on my black khaki pants that was kind of ashy looking. They wasn't even black no more. I had on had a mainly green sweater that had Jamaica on it, which is funny because I love Jamaica and I always say Emma. So I got Jamaica on my sweater, and I remember being in the courtroom and I'm literally frozen. All I can do is look at the attorney. I can't look to the left. I can't look to the right. And when they made me look at my dad and point at my dad, when they said, "Do you see him in this courtroom?" And they were very specific when we were going through the mock-up, if you will, that you have to look at your dad and you have to point and say that's him. That was difficult. I had to look at my dad, and that was probably the first time I've seen him since who knows, and I had to point and say, that's the man that killed my mother. That was difficult. That was much more difficult than the murder itself because, like I said, I just had to react to it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, the kids, that's snitching. I snitched on my dad. You ain't supposed to snitch on your own.
Right.
So I had to look and point him out. That was difficult.
Wow.
And then the other difficult portion of that is when I said what he told me. And what happened was their defense was that it was self-defense. My dad's team was alleging that it was just a struggle. He was defending himself against the boyfriend. Gun went off. He was alleging that. But my dad had told me something that at the time I didn't think anything of, but I remembered it. And when I told my attorneys, that was it. Because, like I said, he was alleging that it was self-defense. But they said, turn to the judge and tell the judge what your dad told you. And I said, my dad told me, and this is when him and I and my grandpa, which is his dad, was riding the car going somewhere. My dad told me, if something ever happens to your mother, don't ever let anybody tell you that I did it.
Really? Wow.
So that destroyed your whole defense that it was self-defense. This was premeditated.
Exactly.
You told him that I'm going to basically do something to your mother, but don't believe folks when yeah. So that, and I remember the judge sat up and he swallowed and he looked over at my dad and looked, that was the wrap. Now they still got to go through the whole jury process, but in his mind,
right there.
Right, what are we arguing about?
Yeah, it's over.
That was difficult. Wow. That was difficult to recall that or to say that. I mean, you got a courtroom full of people. Like the news is there, my family's there, my dad's side of the family is there.
Man.
My dad is in the courtroom. I mean,
this whole thing is publicized.
Yeah, and this trial took place in like 89. So this is like a year later.
Yeah, I'm born.
Yeah,
89.
there you go. Represent. So yeah, this took place a whole year later.
Wow.
And like I said earlier, that picture of my auntie was taken by, the photographer who was on the front page of the Columbus Dispatch when the verdict was read.
So that's when the verdict came that he was guilty and she started crying.
Yeah. And he almost got the electric chair.
Woo!
Yeah.
I was going to ask, you know what? There's so much more we're going to take a break.
All right.
I love people on the edges. He's like,
right. And what happened next?
Right. Got to give you the cliffhanger.
Right.
We're going to take a break. We got, as you can tell, a lot more to talk about with this story and a little bit more after that. Let them know where they can find you and connect with you, because I'm pretty sure right now they want to where can we?
Right.
Go ahead, plug away.
So yes, you can find more about me in the documentary that we're working on, which is called Tymar, on YouTube at LTD channel 614. You can also connect with me on Facebook and IG at the same. Please make sure that you not only take a look at what we're doing, but if you're able to contribute as well. That's probably like my shameless plug. But if you've ever tried to do a movie before, man, it ain't cheap.
Oh,
it ain't like we doing no podcast and you just record and you already, man, it's expensive.
It's a production.
Come on, y'all, hit the button. Pay now, pay later. Give me a check. Give me a something. Roll coins, something. Help a brother out.
Right. Make sure y'all follow the podcast on Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube and any of your podcasting listening app platforms. Don't go nowhere. We got a lot more to talk about with Amir T. Dennis. We're going to talk about the documentary, his businesses, and much more. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
club screaming out like, who do you love? No IG. With all of these bros, I swear one of y'all coming home. Yeah. John Wall, I'm finna flex. If I'm with your bitch, then I'm finna sex. I don't apologize for nothing in the past. Bad boy, I'm puffy combs in the flesh. Like, oh no. DJ knocking that new joint. Molly in a drink, now she tryna fuck. Shorty face down and the bottoms up. Loud in the air and the bottoms up. Like way up. See, I'm a real nigga, I don't chase them. Throw a couple dollars for a fast break. Get a 1-2, now that's a layup. You hater.
Who do you love? Are you for sure?
Is it me?
Who do you love?
Yeah.
Are you for sure?
Tell me, is it
Who
me,
do you
girl?
love? Are you for sure?
Do you love?
Who do you love?
Yeah.
Are you for sure?
I don't got a problem being friends with you. Long as you got plans to bring your friends with you. Couldn't give a fuck if your man's with you. Girl, why you acting like I am with you? Yo, like you don't know. Getting bucky in the back of the photo. Got you missing from the party like we're homegirl. Ask shorty, can she take it? She like, oh no. The sky is the limit. Oh hell no, it isn't. A nigga, one moon and the stars. You know I got chips, is you free though to lay up? Bars. Talking about who do you love? Baby, you know I'm the one.
Talking about who do you love? Baby, you know I'm the one. Who do you love? Are you for sure?
Are you for
Who do you
sure?
love? Are you for sure?
Who do you love?
Are you for sure?
Are you?
Who do you love?
Who do you love, girl? Hey. Yeah, of course.
All right, we're back right here with Lemire T.
Yeah.
Right in his old stomping grounds. If you guys are enjoying the podcast right now, I'm pretty sure you're at the edge of your seats. Make sure you go ahead, subscribe, follow, listen, so you don't miss more great episodes like this. So before we took the break, you were telling us about you testifying against your dad and how that was which you explained was the most hardest thing, compared to seeing your mother. You said, telling the judge and telling, what your dad told you in that car, that was the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And you were telling me off air while we was at break about the picture that was taken in the courtroom the day of the verdict. The verdict of your aunt. A photographer caught her tearing as the verdict was being read, and you're going to use that picture as the cover for the docu-series. Yeah. Go ahead and explain that.
So what we done is, because this project is more than just me telling my story, and it's more than just me making a movie or a filmmaker or anything like that. Yeah. But I'm on a mission, and I'm on a mission to help my family members to be okay with things that happen, to forgive but not forget. And so what I said is that picture, since it is the most famous picture in my family, and it's always been such a source of hurt, I'm going to take that picture, we're going to flip the game a little bit. And I took that picture, and behind it and on the sides of it, we made a collage of different pictures when I was younger, my mom and her sisters, things of that nature, and we're going to make it be happy now. So that when people look at it, they won't just think of the trial, but they'll look at it and see all the pictures behind it and say, that's the picture that represents this documentary that my cousin, that my brother, that my nephew is working on. We're so proud of him for being able to tell his story, to be able to impact somebody else, to help somebody else who's going through, who may go through it, we're going to use that for the good instead of just looking at it and being sorrowful all the time.
So when you were testifying against your dad, right? I just thought about this. Like, I know you said it was hard, but like, because your father is in the courtroom while you were testifying.
Yeah.
Are you kind of like looking at dad as your?
No.
Did they instruct you to like look at this person? Don't look at dad. We need you to.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. There was when you're going through. I don't know what they call it, but I call it a coaching. When they're, we're going to ask you this, and they're going to ask you, and they're going to probably come back and try to ask you this. Make sure you do this. Make sure you, just like you see on TV.
Yeah.
You're going through all of those things.
They're prepping you.
Yeah, they're prepping me.
Yeah.
So they said
12 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Being prepped for they testify against your dad if possible. How do you do that? But I'm doing it.
Man.
And they wanted me to keep my eyes on the attorney so that I didn't get emotional or whatever. Have you keep your eyes on him. Answer the questions that they ask you. Don't elaborate. Don't go in depth because you can open up something else that you don't want to open up for them to come back or whatever.
Wow.
So I was instructed to look at them, but I had to look at him when I had to point out, do you see that man in the courtroom? I had to point at him then and look at him then. And I remember him looking back at me just kind of like,
I was going to say,
just looking at you like you're looking at your son. There was no remorse. There was no tear. There was no, there was just.
So he just looking at you like, all right.
Yeah, he's just looking at me like, but that all goes into who he is. Because as I read in that book that I talked about earlier, come to find out that he was a handful in the courtroom. Like he was just standing up, blurting out stuff, and they was trying to he wasn't cooperating. He was just, so it's one thing to be on trial for murder and to be claiming it's self-defense. But when you just going to be like, I ain't sitting down. Y'all ain't putting these cuffs on me. Where y'all taking me? And you're just doing that.
Right.
Like, dude,
like, you don't look good right
dude,
now. Like, this
come
is
on,
not
man.
helping you at all.
I mean, this trial is just a waste of taxpayers' time at this point. Just send him to jail. Let's finish the trial without him.
It's super defensive.
Yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, he was going to get the electric chair. And there was 12 jurors, and all 12 jurors have to agree that he should get the chair.
Okay.
Which they did initially. But then one of the jurors changed their mind at the last minute. And for him to get the chair, it had to be unanimous. So it went from him to get the chair is a big deal now.
Yeah.
But let alone in 89?
Oh,
he was getting ready to get the chair in 89 in Ohio, such a conservative state like Ohio.
This ain't Texas.
Yeah, right. So, they changed their mind at the last minute, which automatically means he's getting 30 years for the murder. That's the default. He gets 30 years for the murder. Then he got so many for the attempted murder of my mother's boyfriend. He got so many for having a weapon because he's a felon, shouldn't have a firearm. Then you get so many because you broke the restraining order. It's just, you just piled it, and it was all to run concurrent. So it ain't like you get no time off. You just bow.
This is no parole or nothing. He's he's gonna be in there.
Just there. So.
Man.
Yeah,
Who did you feel like it was your fault that you sent dad away?
Never felt like that. I did feel like it was my fault that I allowed him to kill my mother.
Did you blame yourself?
Yeah, I blame myself because before that time, as very typical with domestic violence, it starts with something.
Right.
And my dad used to hit my mom all the time. Like
regularly.
her eye was black all the time.
Jeez.
Dark sunglasses in the middle of the day. I mean, that was the norm.
So he's regularly abusive.
Yeah, all the time. Jeez. And like I said, he was a boxer. So it wasn't just like no regular old dude just slapping. Like he's punching. Whew. So that was the norm. So because of that, I always slept with a butcher knife underneath my pillow.
Did you?
And this is at 12. I would always say to myself, and this is how crazy your surroundings can be, because at 12, my mentality constantly was, how am I going to kill my dad?
Really?
I knew that I had to take that knife and stab him in the chest, but I knew that if I didn't kill him, he was going to kill both of us. So I would literally sit in the bed and have dreams about, okay, I got to put it in him, but then I got to kind of yank it up to get hit one of the organs. I can't just stab him and just sit there and be like, oh, what am I going to do? I was literally thinking about how I'm going to kill my dad. Wow. Because at night I would hear them arguing and fussing and fighting all the time, and I got tired of it. So literally every night I'm just like, okay, tonight's the night. I'm going to bust in there with this knife and I'm going to kill him tonight. And I just couldn't build up the strength to do it.
Never did.
Every night I would say that this is what we'll do every night. But because I wasn't able, in my mind, I wasn't strong enough to do it, I felt like I let him kill my mom because I knew it was gonna happen. I should have killed him first.
You felt you could have prevented it if you was been a big boy.
Exactly. And that was, and I tell my kids this all the time. That was the last time in my life I decided that I was gonna be afraid.
Really?
Ever since then, I'm like, I'm not scared of nothing. It ain't like I'm trying to be tough. Literally, I'm just not afraid of anything. Right. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean,
somebody pull a gun on me.
Pull it. No, I ain't stupid either. I ain't no fool. Here, put it to my. What you gonna do? It ain't no TV movie. I ain't, Right. But at the same time, I'm just not afraid. I can't think of a situation where I've been in. I'm just like, I'm scared. Like I'm just not.
Wow.
I'm just not.
Yeah. If we gonna do this, we're gonna do it.
Whatever, You better get out of here with that gun, man. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds, man. You wasting your time, man. I'm about to go in here and get me a Pepsi or something, man. You better go on somewhere. You want my money, man? You better, man. I'm telling you, man. You better go somewhere, man. You really don't want me to snap back to where you. Please go somewhere, man. I'm trying to help you, man. Please go somewhere, man. Please.
I done been through some stuff. Yeah.
You don't want me to have to unleash it, man. Please go somewhere, please, brother.
Wow. So at 9 years old, you would hear your dad abusing your mother and fighting, going at it, and he would black her eye and all types of stuff, and you would literally talk yourself into like, this is how I have to take him out with this knife. Wow,
it was my job. Because like I said, I knew that if I didn't do it, he was going to kill us both.
So at that time, you could foresee that it would get to the point where he would probably kill my mother.
Oh, yeah. Because, how much time can you hit somebody?
Yeah.
I guess, I don't hit women, never have, but I'm assuming your mentality is, I'm going to make you do what I want you to do or say or whatever. So when you do it, and then after some point when they revert back and you hit them again, that's got to get old at some point.
Yeah.
Just like a parent, you get tired of whooping your child. At some point, I'm done whooping you. Give me that PlayStation. Give me that phone. You ain't going to keep doing the same stuff. Yeah. So I just assume that, at some point you'll stop hitting her and you'll probably kill her at some point.
Yeah. Did you ever ask your mom at that young age, Mom, let's just leave that, and or is it too young to?
I know she was.
Did
afraid
she try
of
to
him.
leave?
She was afraid.
Fearful.
Yeah, she was afraid. I think she knew that he was going to try and kill her. I think she knew that. Hence, what the restraining orders. Yeah. And I remember we went to live in a hotel for a little bit, but in my mind at 12, I'm just like, Mom, we can't keep living in no hotel. I would literally get off the school bus and my mom would meet me at the school bus and we'd go right downtown to the hotel.
Wow.
We can't keep doing this. We have an apartment.
Yeah.
And we pay, and you work at a job, you probably make a minimum wage. I knew that much.
Yeah.
We can't afford to be paying for the hotel and the apartment. We can't keep running from this dude.
All right.
But he was just one of them kind of cats, how you going to run from that dude? And he in the streets, and who know who he connected to. And I'm used to seeing guns at the house behind the door. He crack vials, he hiding here. I'm just used to that stuff.
Wow.
You can't run from that kind of dude.
Power.
Yeah.
How you have a brother who shares the same name as me? Shout out to you, Jerome.
Romans.
Is he older or younger?
Younger.
So he wasn't how much younger is he older? A couple years?
He's 4.5 years younger.
Okay, so you got to see more than he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's funny because that's the next portion of the story.
Ah, yes.
Where it gets even deeper.
Yes.
Because he and I have the same dad, but we have different mothers.
Oh.
As we know, it's typical in the inner city, black folk,
right.
It's just the norm.
That's my half brother.
Yeah, but it's just a brother. It's my brother.
At that time, just my brother.
Just my brother. So when this happened, when my dad killed my mother, Rome's mom got scared and thought my dad was coming after her next. So she took Rome and
logical thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So she took Rome and she bounced. She left.
She got out of there.
Not just out of there, but they went to Alabama.
Damn.
So when Rome left and they went to Alabama, he was 6. The next time I saw Rome, he was 18.
Wow.
So he was there the whole time. So he doesn't remember the trial, any of that stuff. When I was 12, he was younger. He don't remember any of that stuff.
Damn.
So all I knew at that time was that I had a brother named Jerome. Didn't know what his last name was. I knew he looked very similar to me. Felt like he was about 5-6 years younger than me, but that was it.
Wow.
And all that time I had been looking for him. So I'm running around the city. Literally playing with my friends. We'd be out somewhere, you at the open gym playing ball, and I'd just be looking at folks like, that look like they could be my brother, but no, that ain't him. He looked, and I mean, that was my mentality all the time. Riding the bus, going downtown, that dude looked like that could be my brother. Maybe I should just ask him. No, not really. I mean, I'm always looking for them.
Wow.
And I have been looking for them, for him in particular, since for that time until this one moment. And this was another thing that I put on my list of the hardest things for me to do at that time.
Oh boy.
I'm over a friend of mine's house, young lady, just a friend. And her mom was just like, why don't you call the prison where your dad is and see if you can get like a contact list of the names he gave when he went to jail. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. No one's ever given me that avenue because she knew I was looking for my brothers.
All right. You're older now.
I'm older now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I'm in my 20s, maybe 24 or something like that. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. Let me call the prison. I called the prison, and I remember getting the spiel. You know, my dad killed my mom. He's locked up in this prison. This is his name. I'm his son, da-da-da-da. So they said, hold on a second. Put me on hold, and guess what happens next?
They get your dad?
He got on the phone.
Wow.
That never happens.
Hold on real
Dude,
quick.
how do you call the prison and whatever the prison line is, they put your dad on the phone like he's sitting next to him like watching TV or something. Oh, he watching the game. Here you go.
Right. He is available.
Yeah, right. Here he is. Oh, well, I'm glad you mentioned him.
Hello?
He's right here drinking some juice. Here he is.
Wow.
So he gets on the phone and I hear his voice. And it's the first time I've heard from him since the courtroom.
I imagine you. What could you say? Like,
So
was
the-
you just stuck like?
So the first thing I
Hello?
say was, where are my brothers?
And
And he's just like, who's this? I'm just like, where are my brothers? And he trying to figure out who he talking to. I'm like, this is Lemire. He's like, Lemire? He's like, I never thought you would want to talk to me.
Wow.
I said, I don't. I just want to know where my brothers are.
Mm.
I'm trying to find them. I need to know where my brothers are. They gave me this list of these people. Who is this? Who's this Vincent Eldridge? It was just like, that's your oldest brother, Tyke. I'm like, oh, I've only ever known him by Tyke. I didn't know his name was Vincent or Eldridge. I'm like, okay. Who's this lady?
Wow.
Oh, that's your grandma. Who's this? That's your Aunt Kitty. Who's this? I'm like, okay. And this is your other auntie. And so he gave me the information and gave me some numbers. And I just start calling numbers.
Wow.
And I call one, my aunt, and I'm just like, I'm kind of telling her the story. She's just like, oh, Jerome just left. He out running around doing something. Give me your number. I'll have him call you when he get in.
Oh wow.
And this has been 12 years.
Damn.
So he calls me when he gets in. I don't even remember how we started. But we just on the phone and we just kind of giggling and underneath my lip, I've kind of got like this V-shaped little thing with my, and he asked me, he's like, you got that thing under your lip too? I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, we literally we're really connected.
Wow.
And we made arrangements to meet at the recreation center in Brittany Hills, at the bottom of the hill, for those who know Brittany Hills, PHP. So we met at the bottom of the hill, and we've been tight ever since, man.
Wow. Is he still out in Alabama? Or
No, he's here.
He's moved back.
Yeah, he moved back. He moved back the week before his birthday, week before his 18th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been here ever since.
Damn. And y'all look alike?
Yeah, we do.
Damn. So if we see y'all two together, like, y'all brothers. We could we could tell with certain features.
It's funny, yeah, because my wife used to think we didn't look alike at all. I'm like, hold on now, what you mean we don't look like at all? And she says now that we've gotten older, now we look more alike. But yeah, you can definitely tell we're related.
Yeah. So after that whole experience, the trial, now it's time for your life to go on. Your father's in prison,
right?
Mother's passed,
right?
And your interview with Show 83, formerly
right.
Show 83 on WTMH online radio, you were saying that you gave, because at that time your aunt became your caretaker,
right?
And you said you put her through hell. You said you put that
I'm
poor
so sorry,
put that poor woman through through a lot.
I'm so sorry.
What was you said you felt like she didn't like you, but as you got older you realized what she was trying to do with you.
So yeah, that's a long road to that.
Yeah.
And here's what happened right when my mother was killed. I went to go live with my grandma, who is my mom's mom. Yeah. My grandma had 3 daughters, didn't have any sons. And my mom was the baby. So I went to go live with my grandmother, and I'm assuming she probably got, some type of financial compensation with my mother being killed, because I knew there was some inheritance for me later on. I knew that because we went from, my grandma lived in Chesterfield, like we talked about earlier, out in the project. She lived in Chesterfield on the top floor of the building.
Oh,
she lived in Chesterfield, and all of a sudden now we in a house. Like this got many bedrooms, and it's so big that the two of us don't need to be there by ourselves because it's huge.
Oh man!
So I knew some bread had to come in somewhere.
Okay, we done leveled up a little bit.
Yeah, we leveled all the way up. I'm like, where are we? I don't even know where we are. So I'm living with her, and she died just a few months later.
Oh man!
She died of pneumonia.
Oh,
she had got sick, went to the hospital, and never came back.
Damn.
So now I'm like, okay, now my mom's gone, and her mom's gone.
Sheesh.
So then I had to go stay with my aunt, who is my mother's oldest sister. So I went to stay with her, and now I'm with her. I have my cousin Sean, who's in the movie, the documentary, and my cousin Brandy. So I'm staying with both of them, and we are in their house that's not too far from here, right on the outside of Chesterfield.
Oh, wow.
So we still in the same area. And I go live with her, and she died a few months later. She came out of remission from her cancer.
Oh,
she died a few months later.
Goodness.
So then,
jeez.
So now it's me and my cousin Brandy who went to go stay with my aunt, who's the one you're talking about, my mother's only living sister.
Wow.
So not only did my aunt, not only is my aunt missing both of her sisters and her mother, but now she's got to take on both their kids, two of their kids, and we all living together. And ain't none of us got no counseling. Ain't none of us talked about none of this stuff. We just all dealing with it our own ways. And that's where everything came from. I'm hurting because I'm missing my mother and father for my foundational years of being a pre-man and learning the little things. Like I had to learn that I couldn't wear that certain kind of deodorant the hard way. You know, you got the white kind and then the other kind. Yep. I'm putting the other kind on, wonder why my underarms is burning. I'm like, it's burning. And I put it on this morning, but like 5 hours later, I smell because I can't wear that. I had to learn my own. Nobody to sit me down, teach me little stuff like that. Yeah. So, we're going through this thing where she's hurting and I'm hurting. I can't understand what she's going through. She can't understand what I'm going through because I'm not trying to be understood. I just want to be left alone. Yeah. And there was a lot of tension.
Yeah, trying to talk and
yeah, it was just a lot, man. And then I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be getting some kind of money. I ain't getting no money. I'm thinking, the money that's coming for Social Security, that money's supposed to be mine. Like, what you doing? Buying groceries and paying bills. That's my bread. But we're not having those conversations. Yeah. But how do you have that conversation with your mom, let alone your aunt?
Right.
So that's another source of my, frustration. I'm thinking, I'm supposed to be getting this money because at the time I wasn't old enough to get a job. And my cousin Brian, who's also in the documentary, who's a year or so older than me, he was always working. So he come fresh and he got the this, he got the that. And I'm just like, man, I can't work. I ain't got nothing. And where my money at that's coming for this check every month? You know what, man? I'm frustrated, man.
Yeah. I want answers.
Right. So I'm like, I got 50. I need to double it up. I need 100. I need an 8 ball. And I'm just, I'm at it, man. Woo. Just because and I'm not trying to communicate. I was very clear that I did not want to be understood. I didn't want to be talked to. I just wanted to be left alone. Leave me alone. Yeah. Don't call me when dinner's ready. Right. And outside of that, just leave me alone.
Wow. Yeah. How did you? Because I imagine, like, especially like in the Black community, like something that happens to like a kid that young. There's obviously trauma there, but then there's a lot of cases where that child, boy or girl, they grow up and they follow that same path. Or it's just their life is just completely just chaos. Right. Like how did you avoid that going into that lifestyle? Or because history shows, like you say, like your dad just falling right in line. Right. This is what we did. Mm-hmm. You, on the other hand, you could have easily just
Right, and I
F
was.
it.
I was. But
You-
when my mother was alive, I was along that path. Now, I wasn't so crazy where I'm, gun
deep and heavy into
Yeah,
it.
but I mean, I was definitely on that trajectory,
Yeah.
with not having a dad in the house, my mom working as much. I was definitely on that path.
Yeah.
Juvenile delinquent in the making.
Mm.
So I think part of what kind of steered me away was the tragedy. It'd be different if I'm just watching my dad in his heyday, getting it in, and then it looks appealing.
Right.
But when it's tragedy, it's like, I have to make the separation. I made the separation when I testified against him in court.
Right.
There was never going to be a connection after that. I mean, you snitched on me, dude. You the reason why I'm in here.
Right.
I said it was self-defense. I meant it.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. And then the other portion of it, I have to say, because sometimes it gets kind of overshadowed, I heard it for a long time. So it wasn't like I just kind of snapped out of it. Like, I'm better. Like, dude, I was a mess.
Man.
And not only was I a mess, I put everybody through it who had any type of affiliation with me. Young ladies I was dating, my homeboys. I mean, I put everybody through it.
Man.
I was a bully. I was the starter coat thief back in the day.
Oh, man.
Selling drugs. I mean, I'm interstate, no license, no insurance, car registered in somebody else's name with fake social security number, pounds of weed back and forth on the highway. I mean, I'm just reckless, just didn't care. And all the while, I'm just like, it's my duty to kill my dad when he get out of jail.
God,
That was my mission in life. Like, he gonna get out. I must do it. Can't nobody else do it. I gotta do it. It's only right. You killed my mom. I kill you. I should have did it when I was 12. It's only right that I do it. That was my mentality for forever.
Wow.
Until it got to a point and this, now granted, I'd gone to college and I went to 2 different HBCUs. I went to Central State. I went to Wilberforce.
I went to Wilberforce.
The Woo. Yeah, I went to them both.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I met my then fiance, but now wife. So
okay.
it wasn't until, dealing with her and listening to her more than anything, where I got to a point where I needed to talk and to heal and to open up.
Sure.
And that's when I actually started sharing. But before then, I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
People knew what happened. But, I mean, I would start off and I'd be like this. And I just couldn't get through it.
Wow.
And it took years and years and years just to get to a point where I just didn't hate anymore. And I wasn't bitter and I wasn't a detriment. I mean, I was so slick where you would have thought we was friends and I befriended you, but I really didn't care nothing about you like that. I mean, I can cut you off at any point in time if I got killed. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I was cordial and I was cool, but in the back of my mind, I'm just like, we ain't really. When I left college, and everybody just keep in touch. I don't need to keep in touch with nobody. Like,
Right.
I don't need to talk to any of you.
Yeah.
And we was road dogs and kicked it, but I don't need to talk to anybody. Like
Man.
we're done. Next chapter, move on.
You could just cut them off
yeah,
like that.
because things was cut off for me like that. Whether it was my mom,
Yeah.
whether it's my auntie, whether it's
Yeah.
my grandma, stuff so it was nothing for me. You and I could be cool and we could have an argument and I'm cutting you off for the rest of your
Right.
life. I don't ever need to talk to you. And it could just be an argument. But I don't ever need to talk to you ever again and I'm cool with that. No big deal.
Man, it's because of that same thing that happened when you was like, well, hey.
So the thing that I like to tell people is too many times when things happen in life, we focus on the perpetrator and not the victim. And here's what I mean, though. Sometimes the victim in my mother's case was killed.
Yeah.
But what about the 12-year-old child who doesn't have his parents anymore? Everybody focuses on my dad.
Right.
You're talking, the whole trial is based on him going to jail.
Yeah.
And then afterward, it's all about what he did in the paper. But nobody ever came to see where's social services, where's children's services.
It's like,
where's
hello.
where's some psychiatrists? Where's the support? Somebody should have been checking on me like at least every 6 months, a year, up until they could sign off and say, okay, he's better.
Yeah.
Because I could have really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And then somebody who would have been hurt would have been like, well, it makes sense why he hurt me.
Yeah.
Because he this and this and this, and it was never addressed.
Yeah, and that's why I asked, like, how did you, like... you could have easily just like, I'm offering everybody.
Right. Yeah.
All y'all got to pay.
Right. And then what helped me,
Yeah.
my wife helped me to open up, but what helped me to get to a better place where we can talk now is just my connection with the Lord.
Right.
I had to have it. Now, everyone,
Right.
we talked about it earlier. Probably people think I'm bashing the church and I'm standing outside the church with spray paint or something like that.
And picket signs.
Yeah, exactly. But the reality of it is I needed God to work on me, fix me, and change me. And everyone's got their own story. And some people be like, "Oh, that's make believe and fairy tales," but I don't care what it is. Let's go away from spirituality.
Yeah.
If I say, I don't know, this bottle of juice on the floor has helped me to be a better person, and I believe that, then who are you to go against that bottle of juice?
Right.
Whether you want to drink it or not, whether you got the money to afford it, whether you got stock in another company that's a rival. If I say that this juice has made me whole and made me better, then I give props to that juice, and I'm going to do a commercial for it, and so forth and so forth.
Right.
So if I say that my relationship with God helped me, you don't have to have that relationship. You ain't got to believe, you ain't got to read, you ain't got to nothing.
Right.
That's my story.
Yeah.
And while we can debate over the Bible, and while we can debate over the King James Version or the New International Version, or Pentecostal and Baptist, we cannot debate my testimony. We cannot debate what I feel changed me and made me a different person.
That's your story.
That's my story. We can't debate it.
Yeah.
And we also can't debate people who know me from the past, who know me now. They'd be like, dude, you are like, I never saw this coming. We can't debate that.
Yeah.
You know, they amaze me sometimes, like, dude, you used to. And I'd be like, man, I forgot I used to do that. Do I need to apologize? I'm sorry, man. I don't know if I did anything to you, but my bad.
Right.
But we can't debate that.
Damn.
So I needed God to literally unharden my heart and to fix me. Is like, no, you still got some more stuff. Still need to. You can got over some stuff, but there's still some other. I got to get this out. I got to take this out. You can never take this into a marriage.
Yeah.
You can never have no children with this. I got to remove this. You got to remove this, and I got to teach you how to use this when it's necessary. This is when it's necessary. He just had to work on me, man. Just tear me all the way down to make me up to where I can say, okay. Now I'm good. Now I can share on the Cloth Talk podcast. I can share with anybody without the tears and the emotion like I used to have. So, long journey.
Man, can you imagine being a father still having that in you?
No.
Jeez, man.
No.
I said put it down.
Right.
Ow. Oh. Damn, he's 5.
Right. You gonna do what I say.
Right, man. Wow. So it sounds like your wife. What's her name? Let's shut her out.
I don't know if she wants.
Is she more reclusive? Okay. Well, shout out to the lovely wife.
I won't say she reclusive. That's just not her thing.
Okay. Don't talk about me.
But that's the beauty. That's the beauty. Because while I'm out here and doing, somebody's got to be level headed. Somebody better look, dude.
That's right.
Podcast tomorrow. Tonight is family night.
Right.
Okay.
Gotta have that.
Right. Stop recording, brother. And come up here and watch this movie.
There you go.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, it sounded like she was. Was she kind of the one that kind of introduced you to the religion?
No.
Was she religious?
No, I introduced her.
Really?
What many people don't know about me is I had always considered myself to be Muslim. I studied Islam to a point where I declared Shahada, which is the equivalent of being baptized. When I was at Wilberforce, I wore the kufi on my head. I went to Jumu'ah prayer on Friday. I made salat. I mean, I was Muslim.
Wow.
I didn't know anything about the Bible. I didn't know anything about the scripture. If you could have told me, well, everybody know John 3:16, I would have been like, not me. I didn't know any of this story. I mean, I didn't know any of the people in the Bible. I didn't know any of it. Yeah. But here's what got me.
Wow.
My brother, Rome, got into the Lord. And he came into the Lord first. And now, knowing what I know, he was praying for me, trying to get me to convert, to give my life into the Lord, and these different things. And every time he tried to talk to me about Christianity, I'm like, I got to go to the mosque. He driving me to the mosque. But here's what ended up happening. I'm going to the mosque, and I'm looking for more. I'm looking for, literally, I needed someone to grab a hold of me and say, hey, young brother, let me teach you this.
Yeah.
Let me show you this. Yeah. Let me teach you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Let me guide you. Let me mentor you. I needed that. And I was just going to the mosque, and I would literally leave the mosque and be on the bus freaking my black and mild. Going back to where I came from. There was no change. And every time he trying to talk to me about it, I'm like, oh, you with this corny church stuff again, dude. I'm like, you turning into this corny church, dude. I ain't trying to hear it. I'm just not. And then he found something. It's no different than fishing. You throwing out the lure, trying to find what the fish gonna bite. And he found something that I bit on. He started to talk to me about my soul.
Mm.
And I'm like, he had my attention.
Ooh.
I said, okay.
Well, once you hit that,
Yeah. So he telling me about some stuff that most folks don't go. I mean, people listening now go to church and ain't hearing about the soul. Or you may hear it being mentioned, but nobody's telling you where it is, what it is, how it works, how to guard it. You don't hear those things.
No.
So he's telling me about the soul and something just registered. And after him telling me more about the soul, this is what I decided. I decided that I was going to pray, because I always prayed. And I decided I was going to pray to God. And and this was my prayer back then. I said, Lord, my brother's telling me that the only way I can save my soul is by accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Now, I don't know anything about Jesus. I don't know anything about the stories. I don't know anything.
Right.
But he's telling me that this is the only way I can do it. And that's all I want to do at this point is I want to save my soul. That's all I want.
Yeah.
So I said, Lord, I'm going to pray that you have mercy on me. When it's all said and done, this is when I decided I'm going to give up everything and I'm going to run to you, God. I said, I'm going to give up everything. I'm not selling drugs no more. I'm not doing drugs no more. I'm not drinking. I'm not going to the club. Literally, I'm shutting it all down.
How old are you at this point?
I am late 20s.
So you're late 20s,
Late
27, 28.
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
And I decided I'm done. I'm giving it all up. I'm calling on my homeboys. Like, look, I'm telling y'all, I ain't doing this no more.
Wow.
Don't even call me. Look, I'm not even playing middleman. I'm not even taking U2 stuff anymore. I'm done. I'm letting everybody know. And then I said, Lord, I'm going to run to you. I'm not going to walk. I'm not going to skip. I'm not going to play. I'm going to run to you.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, if what I did was wrong, I just ask that you have mercy.
Wow.
Because all I want to do is save my soul.
Yeah.
And he told me this is the only way I can do it.
Wow.
And then after that, I prayed, Lord, take people out of my life that don't need to be there and bring people in that need to be there. My phone stopped ringing for the next 7 days. And after that, my whole circle of friends just start changing. Folks didn't want to hang. Lemire trying to do that. They think it's a phase.
Right.
Lemire trying to, they tempted me. One of my partners came pick me up. I don't think he said 2 words to me. He came pick me up. As soon as we got in the car, he rode to the spot, go in, get the bag, come out, go into the corner store, come out through the swisher in my lap, didn't say anything. And I'm just like, After I just prayed, I said, you know what? I'm straight on this. I'm straight on you. I'm good. I'm not doing it today. I've told you I'm not playing, man.
Wow.
I'm good. And I went and right before this, me and my partner, we was at the club. And we so out of it, man. I mean, I was probably gone before I even got in the club. We in the car just throwing them back like ignorant, just drinking for no reason. And we're in there drinking some more. And I'll never forget, as I'm sitting there, you remember those old paintings or those old pictures where they got like the wood frame and the pictures made out of velvet?
My mom got those.
Yeah, one of them old school pictures. Yeah, your mic probably too young to know about them pictures.
I say my mom has those.
Yeah. So, as I'm in this club, I feel like literally everything went in slow motion and I couldn't hear anything. And I'm looking at the dance floor, but I'm actually looking at this painting. I'm having a vision.
Damn.
So I'm having a vision, and it's titled People in Hell. And I'm watching these people just dancing and kicking it and having a good time, and there's no music, and it's all in slow motion, and I'm literally watching this frame, this velvet picture, and it's in slow motion.
It's like happening while you're right in
the middle of the club.
Damn.
And it's the first time I've ever had a vision.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm watching this, and my mouth is just like, and you automatically be like, am I the only one that's seeing this? Like, what is happening? Like, I really don't know what's happening right now. And then right around that time, my partner who I was with turned to me, get ready to say, you ready to go? He couldn't even get his words out of his mouth. I cut him off. I was like, yes.
Damn.
And I've never been back since. And that's right after when I started calling folks, because that blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, dude, I ain't going out no more.
Right.
I ain't drinking.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, I'm done, man. That was crazy. I can't even explain that to folks, and it makes sense to people. I'm just like, dude, I'm done, man. I'm good. And that's been, 17, 18 years since I've done any of that stuff or kicked it or any of that stuff. And here I am, man.
Man. So I bet people are wondering now, like, so Has he talking to his father yet? Does he visit his dad? Does he have a relationship with his dad now? So, so let's fast. So today, you mentioned on the interview with formerly Show 83 that you did visit. And you said you took, or he wanted to see the grandchildren, and you said, we ain't going there, buddy.
Right.
I'll come see you, but don't talk. Nah. Yeah. So let's talk about that visit and why you decided to go visit them, and what was that conversation like?
So that was a part of my spiritual maturation.
Yeah. And
I had gotten
So at that point, have you forgiven him? Like,
well, that was part of why we were going.
To go.
So my intention was Rome went with me. Him and I went. And I forget, I'm sure I had to initiate it. But, we drove down to the prison. And my intention was this. I said, I need to look this man in his face and let him know some things. I also have some questions about some things.
I bet.
And, I'm going to pray for him, and we're going to be done. That was all my intention.
Wow.
So we get down there, and we there for hours. And he talking the whole time. I'm like, I'm not interrupting. I'm not emotional. I'm not even asking any questions at this point. He's just talking.
Wow.
He's doing the majority of the talking.
Did that surprise you?
No. No. I welcomed it. Talk. Say what you got to say. I ain't heard from you since the trial, brother. Talk. Say it all. Get it out.
Yeah.
I asked certain questions near the end, but I just let him talk.
Yeah.
And this is what changed my mind on the whole prayer portion. As I said, I wanted to pray for him.
Right.
I said, what happened Saturday, March 12th, 1988?
You asked him straight like that?
I asked him, yeah.
Wow.
And he was like, why you asking me that? I said, because I want to know. And you the only person that can answer it. Like,
wow.
What happened? And he was like, oh, that's the year I caught that case. I'm like, for real? You caught a case?
That's how he just...
Yeah, like it was like a code or something. Like, you caught a case. I said, dude, that was the year you killed my mother.
Caught a case.
You caught a case.
As he remembers it.
So in my mind, ain't no remorse. So we ain't no praying going on. Like, this is 10.
You wanted something more than...
Yeah,
like,
I wanted
really
something.
do...
Right. You was just so detached, like you didn't even do nothing. So I said, you know what, we can't even pray. And I still wasn't mad. I was just like, but when you don't have that type of remorse, I can't pray for you.
You seen where he was at.
Yeah, so I saw where you're at, so we can't do that. No big deal. You just showed me where you're at. Okay, no problem.
Wow.
And then somewhere in the conversation, and this was probably near the end, as I mentioned, I listened to all him talking. I didn't interrupt until he said, because everybody know how I feel about my boys and how I love my boys. I'm like, whoa. No, I don't. You can't sell that to me.
Talk about his sons.
Yeah. I don't know how you felt about your boys, because every picture I've ever seen with you and me and my mom, they were all in prison. Every picture you was in jail. So I do not know. Now, every picture I see with you and Rome's mom, y'all was kicking it. Getting ice cream, having a good time. I mean, that looked like a good life right there. Maybe he knows, but I do not. And you cannot sell that to me right now. I'm sorry. I listen to everything else, man. But no, please, brother, do not sell me on that one. No. That's when I had to jump in. Now, I'm still not ignorant. I'm still not causing no ruckus or whatever. But I can't. I can't.
You ain't going to sit there and be a fool.
Yeah, I ain't about to listen to that, man. Come on, man. In your mind, you did. But no, I can't go for that. Wow. So I told him, I said, here's the reason why we're here. I said, because what I want to do is I want to make it to heaven. And I don't believe that I can make it into heaven with hate in my heart. So as a man, I need to look at you as a man and let you know that I don't hate you. And it ain't just lip service. Like, I don't hate you.
Wow.
Now, at the same time, I don't love you. Because to be honest with you, I don't know how to feel about you. Most of my life, you have not been around.
Right.
So I'm kind of indifferent towards you. I've learned for many years how to live without you.
Yeah.
But I just know that I don't hate you anymore. I used to, but I don't hate you anymore.
You wanted to kill him.
Yeah. So I have to look you in your face and tell you that. That's why we're here. I say you didn't win the Father of the Year. Didn't come to, to rekindle the magic and you see my kids
miss you,
and
Dad.
and let's start a life together now. Let's pick up the pieces. I'm not here for none of that. I'm not here so you can know how many kids I got and meet my wife. We're not here for none of that.
That visit was for you.
Yeah. if you wanted to do all that other stuff, you shouldn't be in prison. So this is for me to so I can fly high, because I can't leave this world with this weight on my shoulder and stuff in my pocket.
Wow.
You know, it's like me trying to jump and dunk a basketball, but I got pockets full of stuff. You got to get some of the stuff out your pockets.
Yeah.
You can't go through the metal detector with all. You got to get your belt off, your shoes off. So that was what that was me getting my belt off and my shoes off and lightening my load so that I can grow and fly, be able to share the story, impact people in a positive way.
Wow.
That's why we went.
When he was just talking, what type of things was he just talking about? Was it stuff that meant something, or was just rambling like? And
I'm sure probably Rome was probably asking him questions. I'm sure I was, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
But just kind of how you grew up, and I think a lot of it was just he hadn't seen me since I was 12.
Right.
So it's just like if you could imagine just seeing anybody you hadn't seen in forever, I got everything to say.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start or where to end. I'm just gonna talk.
Yeah.
And you can stop me at any point. I'm just going kind of like I've been doing this whole podcast. So he just talked, man. I asked him where my name came from, because I'd always was curious. Yeah. I'd always thought it was French, and I told people that forever. Lumiere. That's my name is French. It means light. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I asked him, and the reason why I asked him is because the documentary is called Tymar.
Yeah,
Tymar,
your middle name.
My middle name. Yeah. And my mother has only ever addressed me by Tymar.
She
never called me Lemire a day in my life, ever.
Really?
In a school setting, ever. So common sense to me was my dad must have came up with that name because my mother refuses to use it. So knowing their relationship. So I asked him, I said, where'd that name come from? And he's like, I gave you that name. And I'm thinking, oh, I knew that much.
Right.
So what does it mean? He said, you don't know what it means? He's like, it's Swahili. It means the chosen one.
The chosen one.
I'm like, ooh, that's fresh. Yeah. Like, ooh, I need a T-shirt. Like, LeBron, you got the wrong one. Wow. I'm the chosen one. And my brother like, man, how he the chosen one and my name's Jerome? How'd I get that name?
I feel you, Rome. We got the same name. I feel you.
I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. But now, when you hear this whole story and then look at it now, doesn't it make sense that I'm the chosen one?
Exactly.
The chosen one to tell this story, the chosen one to pick up this mantle, to pick up the pieces. Everything that happened, it was supposed to happen. Now, it didn't feel good at the time, but I was chosen to walk this walk, man, and to go through this, to be able to turn around and come out and tell somebody else, help somebody, to let folks know we not doing enough with these people who are going through traumatic incidents. We don't help them enough. We don't care enough. We don't give enough resources. We just think that they're supposed to magically be fine. Right. People still crying in the shower. People homeless. You can hear a homeless person's story and will probably be similar.
Yeah.
Or be even deeper than mine.
Yeah, probably even.
And we don't be caring. Right. We be riding past. He got a sign up. Right. No, I ain't saying go give money to everybody and whatever. We can't help every situation to everybody.
Exactly.
But again, just I've been chosen to carry this mantle, man.
Wow, man, that's amazing. That's crazy. That is a crazy story.
Right. It's almost like fake, right? Like for real, like for real. I mean, just my 12, my year of 12 years. Yeah. Just that year. You know, for your mom, for your grandma, to your aunt. I mean, not to mention that when I was living with that aunt, I stayed there for 5 years. Then I left. I went to go live with my family up north. We just weren't seeing eye to eye. Just wasn't connected. I'm just like, you know what? If I get my grades up, can I go stay with my aunt and uncle in Brittany Hills? Yeah. And my grades were so bad. Like, if you get your grades up, you can do whatever you want to do. So I'm working with this girl at the time. We came up with this fake grade card. I bring home this fake grade card with this fake story. It's like, where's the real grade card? Well, I still owe library books. So they wouldn't give me the actual grade card until I returned these library books. So they just gave me a printout copy. Because the grades is fake. That's why you didn't get
the printout copy.
Yeah, so I got the printout with the fake grades. I got the magnificent grades. So she took and withdrew me from, at the time, I was at 4841 Livingstone Avenue. That's Walnut Ridge for all the mortals listening. So I was at Ridge. Yeah. So I left Ridge the second half of my junior year, moved up north to Beechcroft. I didn't know but 2 people there. So I get there. And to further the story, I lived with my aunt and uncle for about 6 months. And I just walked out the house.
You just walked out?
I didn't know where I was going. Didn't really care. Just walked out. Because at that time, remember I talked about that money I thought I was supposed to be getting.
Oh, yeah.
Now when I go live with my aunt and uncle, I'm getting that money. But they want to charge me rent.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm a senior in high school. Like, I'm your blood family. Like, rent? What? This check I'm getting is $277 a month. Like, rent? So they asked me, it was like, well, how much do you think you should pay in rent? I'm like, well, I guess half, I guess.
Right.
I guess that, half of 200, I don't know how much that is, but half of $277. They said, no, you're going to pay $200. So now I got $77 a month to buy everything. Like, I have to buy my own clothes. I'm buying my own deodorant. Anything for senior dues. I got to do all that with $77 a month.
It was taking $200 from the. My goodness.
So I stayed there for about 6 months, $1,200.
Yeah.
And then on that particular month, I got my money. I'm just like, man, I'm going to the mall, man. I had to buy me some shoes. I just went and got fresh, and I started avoiding them for like 2-3 days. I'm trying to shake them. They gonna forget. I gotta be fresh my senior year.
Yeah.
And so they was just like, listen, if you're gonna be staying here, you're gonna need to come off that bread. I'm like, well, I guess I ain't gonna be staying here because I spent it. So
straight up,
I left, went around the corner of my partner's house. Like, look, man, I need to use your phone, man. I need to call some folks, see where I'm gonna live at, because I can't go back there.
Yeah.
So I'm calling my one uncle, and he like, look, man, you need to go back to your uncle's house. I'm like, dude, I can't. I done spend the money. I'm calling folks. Everybody shooting me down. I hang up the phone from all these calls, and I literally don't know where I'm gonna go. And I'm still a senior in high school.
Wow.
And my partner, whose phone I'm using, his mom overheard all this, and she's just like, you can stay here. Wow. And right there on the spot, I had never met this woman in my life.
Oh, wow.
Never.
She just welcomed you in.
Now, keep in mind, he and I are friends. Like, we homeboys. Like, we hang.
But she never met you.
Never met me. And she just said, you can stay here.
Wow.
And she let me live there.
Wow.
And she treated me no different than she treated him, man. He got $50, I got $50.
Wow.
If he had the key to the car, I had the key. Wow. Literally, she made me forget that my mother was dead.
Wow.
That I called her mom, and it was just amazing. And as they say, coincidence, we had the same birthday.
Oh, man.
So that's what I mean. It was just supposed to be, man.
Crazy.
It all just lined up. Even when I went to Central, and I'm in line for registration, she right there next to me. He started at Central with me, so him and I and her all in line. She was there when I needed to come home on the weekend, wash my clothes. He didn't have to be there. She was mom.
Yeah.
So she held me down.
Wow.
And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Man.
So, yeah, it was wonderful.
When you was talking about, like, how you had to go visit your dad to do that forgiveness process and let all that go and just talk to him one-on-one and just going about your life, it made me think about my sister and my mom. I have an older sister. Okay. And we grew up in the projects in Philly, obviously. And sorry, Mom, I'm embarrassed you a little bit, but she's open about the story. She went away for a little bit. She did a little time. Okay. So she went away for a little bit. And my sister, being the older one, she really took that hard. She looked at that like Mom didn't give a fuck about her kids. Until this day, my sister still holds that. And the relationship between them two is, man. Wow. They can't even be in the same space for a couple hours without, man. So it just made me think about, like, man, like, forgiveness is so key, but especially when it's like your own blood, like your parents. Like, and it just made me think about, damn, like, my sister, like, she can't. She said, like, I probably could forgive her, but I don't want nothing to do with her in my life. Man, that's rough. Zero. That's rough. Yeah, and then here I am. I'm the young one. I'm just in the middle of it. Like, can y'all just, like, get up, please, man? Like, every time we get together, is all right. Now I gotta keep them separated. Like, it shouldn't be like this. Like, we family. We got at the end of the day. Right. So, yeah, man, that's That's a crazy. The name of the docu-series is going to be, let me know again.
Yes, it's Tymar.
Tymar, his middle name.
Yes, Tymar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are wondering, when are we going to get it? When can we watch it?
Right.
Is there a link going to be in the description to click? So what's the status with the docu-series? Are you still filming? Still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We actually will go back into production next Saturday. As you can imagine, everything has halted, as the world had halted.
Yes.
You know, with the pandemic and things. But we were fortunate enough that before those things happened, we had been recording for about a year before.
Oh, okay.
So we had so much content to a point where the idea started with, okay, docu-series, one series.
Yeah.
I mean, one series with, 3 volumes.
Okay.
But now it's just like, we got too much content and we still have so much to go.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be 7, 8, 9.
Oh,
different.
wow.
Yeah, because when you talk about an hour long, 45 minutes, whatever have you.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we're working towards the first series for like the winter.
Nice.
To be finished by the winter, so people can check that out.
Yeah.
Right now, you can go to our YouTube channel, LTD channel 614, to get more information. But we're literally trying to put it in a space where people can go on and purchase it and watch it themselves.
Right.
As opposed to having to, go to big box
Go
office.
through the whole,
Yeah, I mean, this ain't their story. I mean,
Right.
it'd be different if I was trying to sell it for a quick buck, but it's too personal and it's too dear just to kind of prostitute it, if you will, for a meal or whatever have you. Like, no, I'm going to hold this
We want
close.
all the licensing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all the rights. And it ain't about, I got to keep it. But like, no, because generally what happens is when you deal with those companies in those spaces, the first thing they do is like, we love the story. We love the fact that you've gone through so much and you're able to tell the positivity in it. We're ready to reshoot it. No, I'm not going to take my family back through that.
Right.
We just had these interviews where I literally just cut it open. And I'm not going to do that. Now, if we were, for the sake of just money, we would have to.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the healing and the good space mentally, I'm not going to do. I refuse to do that. We're going to take what we got.
Yeah.
We're going to roll to a quality standard where you can look and it'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm watching this or that platform. But we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to my family.
That's good. Stay grounded on it. Yeah. Before we go, we got to mention your businesses.
Oh boy, all of them.
You are a businessman.
Yeah, man.
We talking. You got Channel 614, Family Photography. You also have a podcast.
Yeah, man.
Tell us about all the stuff you got
Right,
going on.
right.
You're a busy man.
So ultimately, Channel 614 is the spot for all things educational, inspirational, and entertaining.
Yes.
So here's the thought with that is I want, and we're moving more and more daily into this channel being a one-stop shop for everything. So no different if you turn on Channel 6 or Channel 4 and you can watch all your programs. I want you to go to Channel 614 and be able to get everything. So whether it's this documentary, whether you're into fitness, whether you're into do-it-yourself projects, whatever, I want all those different things from every city, every state, whatever have you, to be put together in a professional package and put on that channel so you can literally go to that channel and watch everything.
Nice.
So that's what we're doing with that channel. And we're always open to people that are just like, well, I can do this and do that. Show me.
Right.
Let me see. It can be rough. It can be raw, whatever. We'll work with you, help you put it together, slap it on a channel, make it pop, help you to launch it, get it wherever you want to be. We can help. We can do it.
Yeah.
That's what that channel's about.
Nice.
Family photography, that's what I do. I'm a photographer. So we do a lot of youth sports, and we also do some portraiture as well. We've got photographers here in Central Ohio. We've got photographers in South Florida, Western Pennsylvania, and Eastern Tennessee.
Hey,
so
got a whole operation.
So before the pandemic, we were getting it in, man. So if you can imagine sports and picture day, team picture end of it, that's what we do. We specialize in picture day events. So if you talking about the trading cards, statuettes, the dog tags, the buttons,
that's always fun.
Yeah, we do all that stuff. That's our specialty.
Nice.
So definitely hit us up at Family Photography. If you need us in those spaces to be able to help you there.
Yep.
And the podcast, yes, is the Untalk.
Untalk. Funny how a podcast is named Untalk, but you're talking.
Right. But
I love that.
Yeah. The premise is talk tends to be cheap because we talk too much and we always talk and ain't talking about nothing.
Yeah.
So I say untalk, which is the way of discussing, are deep diving into things. So that's what we do on the podcast. Very similar to this platform.
Sure.
We give people the opportunity just to talk and just share whatever's on their mind, whatever's on their heart. And you can find that no different than you can find any other podcast, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, whatever have you. But yeah, that's where you find those things.
Nice.
Yeah,
man. Lemire T.
Yeah, man. I'm here.
Oh man, the chosen one. Swahili.
Right.
I think I might title that the name of the episode, The Chosen One.
Hey, there it is.
I think that's fitting for the title.
Let's do it. Yeah.
The Chosen One.
Love it.
Man, any last words for the people? Anything you want to?
Oh, hold on. Don't be giving me
no. You got something you want to give me.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm glad I did. Yeah, he said he brought a gift.
He was about to get out of here with nothing.
I forgot all about it. I got so caught up in the conversation.
Yeah, so the first thing I have for you is hot off the presses. I don't even have one of these on myself.
Oh!
This is the Tymar t-shirt for those who are watching. This is
Go ahead, show that to the camera right there.
For folks who are watching, or not watching, I should say, it's the all-white tee with the Tymar logo on it. So I got it in your size. So that's for you. So I got that for you. You're welcome.
Oh, man.
Now, I know you kind of young in the mic, so I don't know if you got do you have a DVD player?
I don't.
That's because I knew I figured you did.
But I have a Xbox that can work as a DVD player.
There you go. So we actually have the, for those who are watching, we have the trailer here on the DVD.
Hey!
So you actually have that with some promotional material inside.
Oh, nice.
So this is for you as well.
Nice.
And I've got just some extra promotional material for you to pass along, business cards, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I didn't come empty-handed.
Oh man,
so I'm putting the pressure on all your future guests.
Right.
They gonna come in here empty-handed. Lemire T didn't.
Right. Oh, I'm gonna set this up. Oh man,
there you go.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, this is great, man. This is great. Make sure y'all follow Lemire T and connect with him. If anyone's out there listening who may need some wisdom, some guidance, if you're looking to get into like photography, videography, if you want to know how all that stuff works, if you want to just connect with Lemire on a personal tip, share your story, reach out to him. He's an open book.
Absolutely, as you can see.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Hit him up.
Hit me out. Let's do it.
Make sure you follow the podcast, Cloth Talk Podcast. On Instagram, everything Cloth Talk Podcast, Facebook and IG. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Drop a comment. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I'm pretty sure y'all love this one. If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, any of those apps, go ahead and subscribe, rate, and show your boys some love. Once again, it's been another episode of Cloth Talk Podcast. We'll see you again next time. Peace.